Yada, we in the building, man, with my guy, man, my partner in grind, man. You dig? Higher learning, man. You feel me? We back with some hot grease, baby. You feel me, Nelson L? What's happening, brother?
Man, all facts, no cap, bro. We in the building. It's been a minute. I'm excited to go in. We got a lot to unpack. And yeah, man, I'm gonna let you do the introductions and I'm gonna give my praise and honors. And we can start rocking, man.
Hey, man, this elevated conversation, man. That's all we doing over here, man. We trying to teach the truth to the young black youth and everybody out there who tuning in, man. Everybody from all races, creed, religions, whatever. This is for y'all, man. Period. You know, we tap in and give y'all a little knowledge. You know what I mean? Without going to college. Straight
Facts
up,
on
man.
facts.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Let's let the chat get in the building, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to Natalie. She was the first. You know what I mean? Norfolk, Virginia in the building, West Oakland in the building, Pennsylvania tapping in. You know, our mod, you know, the mod squad in the building, Big Sis in the building, Shaniqua, you know, Sis Stay in
Facts.
the building. You know what I mean? The mod of all mods. You feel me? What up, sis?
Facts.
You know, hey, we about to go in. You know how me and Nelson L do it. You feel me? But yeah, man, it's gonna be a beautiful one tonight, man. Before we even get this started, we want to say condolences and rest in peace to Takeoff. You know what I mean? To
Facts.
everybody over there, you know, that's a part of the Migos family, part of Migos rap group, producers, everybody, management, you know, assistants, family members, children, you know what I mean, executive producers, and so on and so on. You know, label mates, everybody. I know everybody going through it right now. So condolences to everybody over there in Atlanta. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is it's crazy, man. So big shout out to y'all, big condolences, man. A big recipes to take off before we even get this thing started, man. You feel me?
Facts. Facts on facts.
Um, Definitely, man. Couple other people tapping in the building, man. But yeah, it's a lot. Sacramento in the building, Dallas in the building, Linwood in the building, Louisville, Kentucky in the building. Yeah, the mob tapping in, man.
Facts. Yeah, the
All over the
family.
world, baby.
Family. Yeah, yeah.
All over
Everybody in
the
the
world,
front
man.
room. We can ready to have a one of those family conversations, you know what I mean? So everybody come on,
I'm
tap in. Everybody in the front room. You know, it's kind of late. Get your you always say get your party favors together. I think this gonna be a classic episode. You know what I mean? It's gonna be classic. And I just want everybody to get ready, get your mind ready because we're gonna elevate the nation, man. It's the elevation of the nation. And we finna take you to the real college, you know, like the brother said, you don't got to go to college for the knowledge, but you know, life is college. You feel me? So the real ghetto, the real hood, the real soil, that's the university. That's the universe. So we here now. We're gonna make some things real plain. We're gonna get into Takeoff and death rappers or the transitioning. I mean, everything is a sign and a symbol. So we're gonna tap into that. We're gonna tap into some of this conversation that Ye been putting out, get into some of this Kyrie Irving, but we're gonna make it all make sense at the same time. We're gonna break it down according to science. So everybody tapping in, man. Let me just we're gonna get started. Um, First, we got to give all praise forever due to the Father of the universe, you know, the author, the creator, the most high vibration, the highest form of thought. If you could take your thoughts up as high as you could take them and get there and stay there for just a second, we want to give honors to that vibration because there's no pain, there's no hate, there's no sadness. You at your highest vibration, your highest frequency. And we know that universal energy is even higher than that because you can't circumscribe the thought of the most high vibration, and that's all it is a thought. So we want to give honors to that, you know, whatever you choose to identify that by. So I say Allah because the all is in there. And then we want to give honors to the sun, and that's the messenger. That's really you for real, because you are the hand of that vibration. You are the mouth, the arms, the legs, the everything of that vibration. You know, sometimes the certain groups of people they'll say arm, leg, arm, head. You know, saying you put that acronym together. But so we want to give praise to that, give honors to the representation of that, the physical form of that. Some say the sun. So we give honors to that. And man, I want to give honor to everybody tapped into the shout to the podcast and give a shout out actually to everybody that is just willing to elevate, knowing it's that time. I want to give a shout out to YUK. I see you, family. I thank you for giving us this platform so we can elevate. Not a lot of people's willing to have these conversations that we're gonna have tonight because there's a cancel culture that goes along with talking about certain topics and getting into certain language. So we wanna just give you a shout out for being brave, man. But yeah, bro, you ready to go? How you feeling? What's up with it though?
Hey man, I'm not monetized, bro. I don't do this for monetization, man. This is the way to give back to the people. We always complain about the OGs not, really giving the game to the youngsters. You know what I mean? Because we has passed the game, our generation. And our generation became successful and did other things and left the hood. So we really didn't give the game that we learned, back to the youngsters. That's why it's like everybody, like it's a renegade type of situation. Everybody for themselves instead of being a code, a conduct, you know what I mean? Like how we used to mob back in the day. So when I do this, it's like an OG trying to give game back to the youth, trying to give game back to the people, how it went
That's
back in
right.
the day. You know what I mean? And, trying to lace their boots because it ain't too late. You know what I mean? And they tapped in with this internet. They tapped in on their phone. You know what I mean? And
That's
if I
right.
can't approach them on the corner, I could hit them with this, you know what I mean? So this is my way to get back to the people, and give some knowledge to the kids, you know what I mean?
That's right.
Some OG game, you know what I mean? That's missing, that they say, oh, the OGs didn't look out, the OG didn't say nothing. So now
Right,
we say,
right.
you feel me? So it's not monetized. We do this for the love, you know what I mean? And just to
Facts.
spread the word and get the knowledge out.
That's right. You know we do it for the love.
Mm.
Hey, listen, it's almost like this is the position that we're in now. Life goes through these different stages. You have your adolescence, you have your young adulthood, and this is where we at right now. We at the stage to where a lot of the young people, those are our sons, those are our nephews, those are our that's our young life. You feel me? Out there. So we gotta, what I'm saying, we gotta basically make sure that we're giving them the right tools so they can be successful as they go forward, and then they pass it down to essentially what is our grandchildren, which is their children. You know what I'm saying? So we're in the right position, and the world is in the right position. Everything's opening up as prophesied or as promised. You feel me? So let's get into it, man. Where you wanna start at?
Let's start with the just the crazy shooting death of Takeoff. That whole scenario was just bananas. I want to
Facts.
hear what you guys say about it. I already said my piece about it and how I felt about it. But I definitely want to hear what you got to say about it and how you feel about the situation of just young black entertainers just being killed left and right.
Left and right, bro. I think I coincide, if you will, with a lot of what you already said. I'm looking at it from just stepping back and from like the 30,000 foot view when you're looking down on it and just like there's a reason, and we might say, well, it's because of politics or whatever the reason is that young entertainers that represent our culture are being taken from us or being, transitioned almost every other time you turn on the news. And I'm thinking that what's happening is um, we're at an era of time now, and this has cycle ages happen, and we're back in that time to where the artists who are most connected to the soil are transitioning, but it's to in a broader picture, is to draw attention to what we're saying, and it's to draw attention to the fact that there is that we're in an era of time to where what we say is going to be what leads us into this new era. I know this is just we can make good deep, so I hope you're ready. Um, where we're at right now is there's a transitioning happening of one generation into a new generation. You're seeing a transition of energy. So if you If we talking about on the energy, there's a transition from a masculine energy to the feminine energy right now that's going on, and we can kind of go in a little bit on that. There's a shift in politics. There's a shift in spirituality, and a shift out of religion and into consciousness. And so as we shift like that, the prophets, the artists, those that are telling the story, they're on the front line. It's almost like if we're at a war, and if you think about it, maybe from a biblical standpoint, um, we're getting ready to enter the war. So all of God's chosen people, all of the ones that are identifying as the prophets or the leaders or those that the people follow, they're entering first into this kind of spiritual battle that's getting ready to take place, or that is taking place. But so you're starting to see it happen more and more and more, and I think that's indicative of the fact that where we are right now spiritually, and a whole nother thought. You feel me? But because they're our brothers, that's our culture, that's our nephew, that's somebody's close relative, then it's hitting hard. It's hitting different to us. You know what I'm saying? Because it's directly affecting our community. But that also is because of who we are. I don't know. Does that can you identify with that, bro?
I hear you loud and clear, Playboy. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
cool.
I think that we gotta look in the mirror sometimes. You know what I mean? I've been saying this for a long time that, a lot of people get frustrated when, the police or another race do something to us, somebody say the N word or whatnot. But when it comes to us, you know what I mean, we could terrorize each other, we could kill each other, you know what I mean, rob each other, you know what I mean, and nobody blinks an eye,
Right,
and that's where we messing up at. If we don't show no tribalism and no care for for our race, our own race, nobody else will. Like, you want somebody else to come in and save us, we gotta save ourselves. Period.
right,
We gotta save
right,
ourselves from the drama. You know what I mean? We gotta realize that, you don't need to hate the next man. Rather you have anger towards that man or not. He can't stop your money. You can't stop his money. Like, what's the
right,
anger for? You know,
right,
um, I take motivation towards people that's successful in the game. You know what I mean? It's like it motivates me. It make me want money. That's one of the reasons why I moved to LA. You know, every car I dreamed of. I collected ride reports for a living and DuPont registries. Every car I
That's right.
seen DuPont was on Sunset Boulevard. And I'm like, wow, 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 wow. I'm like, I never seen these cars but in magazines, and I'm seeing them in real life as motivation. Like, I could accomplish that. You know what I mean? Because these people accomplished it. It's like, if they could do it, I could do it. They human like I'm human. You know what I mean? And it became motivation and made me want to get stuff, made me want to, elevate my business, elevate, my money. You know what I mean? Instead of like, oh, F him, or, forget them, oh, they whack because they got the Lambo. Like, no, I want a
Nah,
Lambo too.
get mine
I
too.
want
That's
a
right.
Lambo too. So I moved out here, got motivated and elevated. You know what I mean? Period. I never had no hate in my soul. Of course, I had beefs and whatnot, but that comes with, just being competitive with lyrics and rhymes and music. That was no real hate in my heart towards anybody I had beef with. That's just a competitive spirit that we have in hip hop. Everybody want to be the best, but I would never see one of them individuals and try to approach them with any type of gunplay, any type of street beef or nothing like that. It's just on wax. So um, we just got to really start loving ourselves, man. Loving
That's
ourselves,
right.
really
Bro,
realize who we are, because everybody want to be us but us, man.
that's right. I think
Period.
you hit the nail on the head. And that's really the template. That's the blueprint. You the game for real, we give game up every time we breathe. That's just our way. That's our people. And when we talk and we say stuff like birds of a feather flock together, when you say stuff like that, it sounds clever. It sounds like, something your old uncle used to say. But for real, that's the truth. And so what you basically have said is, I went to where I seen it going down, and I put myself around that because I need to be part of that. And I know I can be part of that. Fact of the matter is, when you look around in the room with you, you want to be always putting yourself, if you're the richest person in the room, you got the most stuff in the room, then what you want to do is you want to think, okay, I need to get in the room to where I'm not that. So I can, because you're going to always make, if you hang around people that make six figures, make $100,000 a year, and you walk in a room and there's five guys at a table, I think they're probably all going to make within, 10K, 20K of each other. I make 150, I make 120, I make this much, because they all probably tied into a similar business. Well, it's the same way when you move up into the next, when you move up into the M's, you're going to hang around with those guys. Chances are, as soon as you move up, you're going to be making M's. Why? Because everything that's moving in that circle is going to be about that type of financial positioning. And so you'll find yourself in that position. So I definitely feel you. I look at some things like this, bro. I'm going to just start rocking because the spirit is on me. So appreciate you. Again, appreciate everybody for tapping in. We went through a whole thing, and almost just like going from a child to an adult, but as a people, right? Because the whole key to whatever we're trying to do, there's going to have to be some unity involved, and that's just a fact on anything. Anybody who identifies with gang culture, anybody who understands politics, anybody who ever dealt with religion, you're gonna need numbers to make things happen. You feel me? And we're gonna get into some of this conversation later, but I want us to think of our little plight, you know, that we can go back to on the rocky shores of North America, so to speak, starting at our POW ship, our prisoners of war, so to speak. When we start processing information, um, starting from where they was giving us our history began in school, as slavery, it was force, right? It was a force that made us do whatever it was, do this particular job and don't get paid because there's going to be a consequence there, right? So that stayed around for a certain period of time. That moves into, and I want you to think about a cycle. Everything moving in cycles, but think about some time period. That's what is used to control us, force. That lasts for a certain period of time. Then it moves into religion, right? Your grandmother was, going to church 3 times a week, part of the choir. You had you up in the sunbeams, whatever. You was vacation Bible school when school wasn't in. We went through that, and that controlled things for a period of time. Then it shifted to culture. That's where kind of we are now. The culture controls. If the culture says, wear this particular uh, hairstyle or clothing style, or speak this different way, or wear this type of shoes, or what have you. We was controlled by the culture. Now the next thing, this is where we coming into right now. We on this line, and this is where the doors opening up. This is where we this is why you're seeing what's happening with our young men that are moving the culture. We're coming into the next era, the fourth era, the consciousness. There's cycles that happen. Just like you have seasons that happen: summer, winter, spring, fall. We go through the seasons. I know I just probably said them out of order. Spring, then summer, then fall, then winter. So we have force, religion, culture, consciousness. And that's where we're coming into the era of consciousness right now. So the conversation that we're getting ready to have, this is my little disclaimer because I want to open you up, is we're going to have a conversation just built on just straight facts, right? So as a Moorish American Muslim, we're taught to investigate everything. We're taught to break it down. We're taught to look at it from an analytical point of view and take away all of the the spookism and the hisism and all that funny business. And so I think that we can land right there for just a second. And I want y'all to just think we're at the era. Nobody's forcing us now. The whip is not cracking, right? So to speak. It's shifted. There's a form of the corporate plantation. I could get into a conversation with you about that. Still picking the 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 corporate cotton, if you will. Um, Religion is not overbearing with us right now. We've had some conversations about that. I think that a lot of that we've come through that period. We understand that. I think I seen a thing where TD Jakes, Creflo Dollar, Joel Osteen. There was a couple others. Man, these dudes was balling out harder than you thought Nino Brown was balling. Some of these pastors that are running these mega churches, they killing the game. I mean, they hustling harder than any whatever you thought you was doing with the rap game, bro. These dudes are buying airplanes. You think Drake bought an airplane? Yeah, so did Pastor so and so just bought his second airplane. So they balling harder. So we understand, religion is being exposed now. And so I'm not saying anything negative, not don't want to say we're speaking radical on that, but I think a lot of us are waking up to that. And then we stepped into the culture.
Let
So
me,
the
can I
culture,
land?
come
Can I
on,
land
land with me.
before? Can
Land with
I
me.
land right quick? It's a hustle, bro. It's a non-profit hustle, bro. And them
Come
dudes
on.
get paid, bro. And then we got, this is the only thing that I don't like about it. Until you show me the God bank of the world, where these ties are going to, it's like, who am I paying? You giving 10% of your earnings. You know what I mean? They're going to a preacher who balling out, who's buying airplanes with your money. And like we in pandemics and recessions and whatnot, like we can't afford to just give away our money for somebody to go buy an airplane, and we can barely afford to pay our bills, and inflation got us barely could afford groceries. Like, come on, man, like God didn't want it like that. The real, I don't think, what I mean. I think it was splashed. I think the Bible had a lot of things splashed in it. I think the Bible is real. I think the Torah is real. I think all the religious text is real. You know what I mean? But
That's right.
I think a lot of things were splashed to control people. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of them.
Well, I think that, we're living in that time. Like I'm trying to paint a picture so the audience can see how we went through these particular stages. And we know that anything that has a beginning also has an end. So we're showing how these there's a cycle or a circle, but there's these particular breaks. And after the break, then life as we know it shifts. We deal with it like that. It stays that way for a generation, and then it shifts, and eventually it'll go back to force again. However, how when we start looking at, like you said, the religious text and the books, when we get to that era of consciousness this time, we're gonna we're gonna plateau and we're gonna sustain that for ever and ever, as the prayer says, amen. It's going to be a reign of that, what you're talking about, that love, that understanding that how we grow, how we get more is by going together. You feel me? It's like on a whole nother science. We're going to take it up. So there's that. But we haven't got there yet. We're in the process. But what we're doing is ushering in this new era. So the time is hit. Boom. The gateway open, the door is swung open to where most people you'll talk to, if you ask them about religion, if you ask them about spirituality, you ask them about who are you, where we come from, they're gonna have some type of understanding. Where I think at one point in time there was just, you know, I'm just waiting on Jesus, so to speak. And now I think that the conversation, has elevated to where we're starting to look at ourselves as who we really are in connection to our idea of God. And so partially that comes with knowing who you are. So
One, one
yeah,
more,
we
one
hear
more,
that. Come on with
one
that.
more thing. Let me land, man.
Yeah.
Another thing, man, that I want to ask about, just the religious, what I mean, leaders that's making all this money, man. Why whenever it's a crisis, man, we got to get money from celebrities, man? Why when it's a crisis, man, people could barely be homed in these big mega churches and whatnot? Why when it's a crisis, they're never there? Like, why? Like, this is allegedly, as far as what I know. They probably been there. They probably made some donations. I don't know. But as far as I know, I never heard of them coming up like, oh, the church of whoop 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 made this 100 million, I mean, $2-3 million donation towards Hurricane Katrina. I never heard it.
Right,
It's always artists. Oh, Jay-Z put, 2 million. Beyonce did this. Whoop whoop did that. Like, it's never the religious circle. They just get to ride off into the sunset and don't worry about nothing. And it's like
well,
you're getting a lot of money, and you're supposed to be looking out for the community. I think you know what I mean. It's beyond the church.
absolutely.
Beyond the church. You gotta look out for your congregation, your members. Make sure they good. So once that start happening, and it's disaster, and your congregation is in danger, and you're not sending help, and you're in that
Right,
city, state, or whatever, or even if you're not in that state, you're religious, man. You're God's
right.
prophet. You know what I mean?
Well, I
So,
think that's the reason why, we when we talk about prophecy, the church is first on the list, when it talks about the consciousness coming back or Christ coming back, it's about the church is going to basically going to get hit first. I just put it in the regular terms we like to use, but the church is going first, and it's not because no, he's not. He's mad at the temple, the church, or the synagogue. It's just going to be that um, the way he put it is, I'm coming to uphold the law. And if you're not in law, then you're going to be on the outside looking in as a nice way, or you're going to be judged, or your house will be divided and it'll be, destroyed basically. So, a lot of when you get into really breaking down the Bible, Jesus is encouraging us to give away all of our possessions basically to pick up the cross and follow him. And right now there's a whole lot of people that are connected to material things, and that's nothing wrong with that. But it's when you make those material objects your God, when you idolize those things, when you worship your car, when you worship, your chain or your watch or whatever. It's not nothing wrong to have that. A lot of the people that are in the Bible are kings, King Solomon, King David. So they had lots of stuff, but you got to put God first. And part of put God first is respecting people, because that's where God resides, in your neighbor and your loved one, your brother, your sister. So there is um, there's been a lack of that lately, and so part of what we're experiencing with different artists right now is a result of the lack of love that's being distributed in our community right now. And part of that comes with not knowing who we are, and not being selfish enough to understand that the most selfish thing that we can do is assist somebody else, is to show somebody else love, right? Because that's going to put you in a better position to receive. But we'll get into that. So we know religion, and that's where we kind of landed at, was on religion. We know that that's kind of been exposed in a way that people can make a decision for themselves if they want to be part of that, if they don't want to be part of that. Well, I
well,
think
well,
in
well,
the
well let me
go
let
ahead.
me land right quick. God
Come
is
on.
real, man. God,
Facts.
God is real, man.
Facts. There you go.
The the story of Yahshua is real. You know what I mean?
Facts.
The prophets of God is real. You know what I mean? The children of
Facts.
Israel, all that's real, bro. You know what I mean? Don't get it confused. But the way, like the first, I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it like that. But the first real gangs in history was religious gangs, and everybody
Come on,
was
bro. I
each
love
other
it.
of who God is, what style of prayer is right, who God is right, what name is right, this, that, and the
Mm-hmm.
third. It was
Mm-hmm.
beefs with the Catholics, you know what I mean, and all types of people that was just pressing their religion. So it started with that, a religious text. That's why everything is stored in the Vatican as of now. The religious text. You know, the scrolls, you know what I mean, the arcs and all of that type of stuff. You know what I mean? The Ark of the Covenants and all of that. Like, come on, man. Like,
Right.
oh, the real stuff, right? Yeah, all that shit was being like
Facts.
all them type of artifacts, you know what I mean? The texts were being like what you'll call Indiana Jones. The people were on
Right.
Indiana Jones type of missions and gathering all that information. And the people who had it were the victors, you know what I mean?
That's
And
right.
they get to rewrite the story. you know what I mean, and put, their own spell on it. So the Bible's been rewritten, I don't know how many times, but a lot of times I say that, depending on who was ruling at that time, and that's how we got the King James version. Each ruler had a different version, right?
Absolutely.
So there you go.
Man, you said a couple of things that I wanted to touch on, bruh. And one is God is real, right? I think we done with that conversation. I just want to put that out to the whole universe. Everybody on, we agree on that, right? And the fact that this is where I want us to put our mind on this. You are the proof of that truth, right? You the proof that God is real. Look in the mirror, and when you get to thinking, is God real? Look at yourself.
Facts. Oh man. Oh wow.
Understand
Wow.
that
Say that again for the people in the back that
we're
didn't hear
gonna. Uh,
it.
let me see if I can rewind that, because this is how I want to, for anybody that does not believe God is real, God doesn't exist, right? For anybody that has ever held that thought, you are the proof of the truth. God is the truth, right? You are the proof that God is real. Yourself. There's no strings attached to you. There's nothing that is uh, that is making you move and think and walk and talk and breathe that you can touch, taste, see, hear, smell. That's something that's making you do that. So you're the proof that God exists. When you have a thought in your mind, but you don't say it out loud, only you can hear that. That's God talking. So if God don't exist, then you don't exist. So I want to kill that argument there. So that's done. Now we
And
know that
then,
there's a higher
and
power that's
then,
pushing. Come on,
hold on. Let's land on that God thing too. Well,
come on.
if not, then all the people that believe in the other end, the other energy, they're very highly successful. They're very powerful. That and God sent that dude Miguel was what the real name for him.
Hmm.
Sent him. His punishment was boom to Earth. This
Hmm.
is his realm.
Right,
So when we see all of this going down with all this negative energy and all this, what I mean, all these murders, all these killings, everybody
right,
against each other, all these, what I
right.
mean,
That's
you know
that's
what I
the
mean,
that's the war I'm talking about. That's that
that
battle.
crazy bad
Yeah.
spirit that's going around the world. You know what I mean? That's because this is his territory, and the Bible say you're born in sin because you're born on his land, on that dude land, because he was struck down to earth. This is his territory. Heaven is God's territory. This dude territory, right? Where he strike him down to. He ain't strike him down to the sun. He ain't strike him down to the moon. He ain't strike him down to Mars. He struck him down to Earth, right? Am I
He
lying?
this how I perceive it, right? He struck him down and trapped him in what we recognize as this realm, right? This physical thing that we call Earth, right? So I look at it as we are not the body, we're not the soul, we that other part. When I said that God part, right, which is a higher frequency that transcends and transmutes the physical. But if we reduce our thoughts to hatred, slander, murder, lewdness, these devilish thoughts, where this dude moves, the things that he pushes, then now we have descended into hell, a hellish state, a hellish thought, a state of mind. And heaven is that higher frequency, that higher vibration that actually transcends the physical. So it's like you said, because you gave it in the allegory in which the Bible puts it, but it's actually a whole thing that deals with a vibrational frequency of a higher positive frequency and a lower negative vibrational frequency. And you know how vibration works. If you take water and you slow down the molecule, slow down the vibration, it becomes ice. So the slower the vibration, the more dense or the more solid a thing becomes. That's the reason why, if you look at it from a scientific point of view, you can touch something and it'll be a solid. It's based on how fast or slow the molecules in that said object are moving. Although everything is moving, some things are moving faster, some things are moving slower. So I gave you the example of water turning to ice. Where you also speed that water up, it turns to steam, vapor to mist, and finally you can't see the water, although that water is still in the room. You just can't see it. So that's why I said it transcends the physical. So when we say that that certain entity was kicked out of heaven, it fell because it had that hate, had that spirit. I want to take over. I want to, I want to go to and fro the earth, seeking whom I may devour. When we don't need to be on that energy, we don't need to let that. I
But
one
why
find.
do the Bible say we born in sin? That's the question.
Well, let me just sip that water. Um, it says a couple of things. One, it says ye are in the world, but not of the world. So I think that when it says we're born in sin, sin is not knowing who you are. Sin is being ignorant. That's really what a sin is. Like if you walk around and call yourself black and Negro and colored, and you have a nationality, that's actually living in sin. So we hear the story when we were young about the ugly duckling, right? There's this swan who gets orphaned from his family, starts hanging around a group of ducks. And so he looks like he's the ugly duckling, but he's really this most beautiful swan ever. When he opens up his wings, he's beautiful. He's gorgeous. That's kind of who living in sin, not knowing who you are. So you're born in ignorance. That's being born in sin. But now we have the information. Now we have the network. Now we have the knowledge. Now we have the resources. Now we have the financial aptitude to be able to not live in sin anymore. Yet a lot of us are still hanging on to those old thought traditions, those old thinking ways. We talked about we don't like to use the word death, and I don't. We using transition because we don't even look at things the same now. And that's what I want the higher. I know somebody else tried to swoop the name, but they can't take the knowledge. We'll get into that too. But this information, this elevation that we talking about right now, bro, it's on a whole nother level because
Look, one
go
more,
ahead.
one
Come
more
on.
thing, not to cut you off.
Come on.
Back to born in sin, right? Okay,
Right.
cool. You say that it's
Ignorance.
consciousness and that and the third. Why do we
Hmm.
have to get baptized? Why do we have to salat? Why do we have to do the thing that what's called the convert or whatever you got to do
Absolutely.
to be a Jew? Why you got to do that? Like
Hmm.
confess and give yourself to God. If we're not born in sin, if we're not born in sin, why
Absolutely.
we get
Let
baptized?
me.
Why we have to convert? Why we have to salat? Why we have to do all that religious stuff if we're not born in sin?
Right.
Because
Right. Let me.
baptize is to save you from sin, to give
I
your life
love
to
it.
God, right?
I love it. Great question.
It's a
Great
good
question.
thing, right? Come on, man.
Let's
I
get
learned
it. Nah, nah. That's how I
it.
learned it. Let's get it. And let me give my quick more science what I call disclaimer. So for the MST of A, anybody associated with more science, everybody know I'm Nelson Hill. But these are my thoughts. This Nelson Hill talking. So this by no way is a representation of the organization or anybody that represents that. So I'm not the official spokesman or nothing like that. So now getting into it, this is my thoughts on that. One, the baptism is a symbolic ritual of what is to take place in our heart, if you will, right? We're supposed to wash away any negative thoughts, any hatred, any slander, to really become a new creature. So if you've been living in sin, right? You've been in ignorance, then it's just an outward show of what took place on the inside. You washed away all of that. You let all that uh what I call hatred, slander, murders, lewdness, theft. You let all that go, then you coming back up a new creature, and consciousness, or what some call Christ consciousness, or just in Christ. I guess how some look at it, but that's the reason for the baptism. It's a symbolic ritual of what happens on the inside. Now, Salat, um, making certain prayers. These things are customs. And a lot of what we deal with is custom and tradition, but that goes along with certain religions. I like to go back before religion. That's why I go back even before like black and all that stuff, because when did we become black? That we became black in maybe what the 1600s, late 1500s, when the slave trade started getting going. That's when black and white became a thing. But prior to that, we were connected to nations. We had certain bloodlines and genealogies that we were attached to take us all the way back to uh, Father Abraham, that tie us to Yahshua, that tie us to the prophets and that Jewish bloodline that we're going to get into. But that was severed, and we were disconnected from our history, from our genealogy. So a lot of us don't know who we are. That's why we living in sin, because we don't know who we are. That's what I'm talking about. So I don't want to say. I want to say I'm not arguing with nobody. You say you a certain this or that, but I say let's be who our forefathers was. Let's tie ourselves back into what we always have been. The ancient covenant in the Bible says, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days will be long on the earth land, which the Lord thy God hath given thee. When you honor your father and mother, what that meaning is that when you identify with the name that's already been placed or given to you for the last 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 years, why wouldn't you tie yourself to that versus tying yourself to a wave that's going to wash away in the next, man, we done been 10 different names in 4 generations. Your great great grandpa was a Negro, then his son was colored, and then after that, he was black. Now we're African American. If you tie yourself to any of those names, you're going to be washed away in the ocean of time in here in just a couple generations. Whereas if you tie yourself into your father, your ancient forefather, your ancient foremothers, then you're going to never go away, because everybody know who the Moors are. In my case, how I identify the Moors ran Spain for nearly 800 years. We could get into that, but we can go back, and I say that's what we're doing now. We're taking a lot of this information. We're going to tie it back to how we really processed and identified with certain things. And right now, we're just seeing the signs of the times and this era that we're living in. And so we're in this era now to where we know that um, there is a certain energy that's moving through us that we can't see, touch, taste, smell, or hear. Everybody identifies that with that, just like we know gravity is real. You get up on top of the roof and jump off, you're gonna you're gonna hit the ground. Nobody's gonna argue that. So we're at that point now. And so now we can start looking at what's going on with us as a people based on the facts. Let's take all the other stuff out, the customs, the tradition. Um, and that's kind of jumping around. But when I was talking about customs and tradition, making salat, I don't want to get that misconstrued as if I'm trying to be negative. These things were put in place to help bring man back to his fallen state, to where he fell from. That thought of being on high at all times. The salat was really supposed to be, you're supposed to be praying like and I'm just kind of paraphrasing some things for the sake of arguing 100 times a day, for example. And when man realized I can't pray 100 times a day, we'll say it was a conversation between Allah and Muhammad. And it's like, man, they ain't doing that. I said, okay, get him to pray 50 times, can't do it. 25 times, can't do it. 10 times. So it ends up breaking down to 5 times. But it's just to keep us connected with our higher power, with that higher source, trying to tie into that. Really, if you ask Nelson Hill, where I think we're going to go, where we're headed in the evolution of man and consciousness, is we're going back to where we started. Everything is cycles, and we're going to get to the point to where you're going to constantly be tied to your higher source. every breath you take. And so with that, then the need for customs and traditions go away. The need for labels. I'm a Catholic. I'm a Baptist. I'm a Jehovah's Witness. I'm a whatever. It goes away because you're one with the Creator. So once we lose these labels, then we're entering into a new era time. We're gonna lose the labels of black and white here shortly. A lot of what we go through right now is distracted by these labels called black and white. We don't see what's going on because these labels are put in front of us, so we can't get around the labels. Can't get around the label Jew. Can't get around the label white. Can't get around the label black. And so I want to delve into that, but I want to
Yo, yo, that's a perfect.
we coming up though. So we
Yo,
started.
yeah, yeah.
Come on.
Hold on. That's a perfect spot to alley oop, man. You said throw them alley oops, man. So
That's right.
as of lately, our brother Kanye been going through it. He said some things that they said is anti-Semitic. By basically saying that he's a black Israelite, a black Hebrew. Um, Basically saying he had bad dealings with some of them. And he got canceled.
Right.
Bank accounts frozen and whatnot. You know what I mean? All types of slander around the media. Um, as of recently, our brother Kyrie Irving, what I mean, from the Brooklyn Nets, is going through it from making a post on Twitter about just a documentary,
Mm-hmm.
called from Hebrews to Negroes. He didn't say
Right.
I like it. He ain't say, nothing like, forget, the J people, nothing. He just said, boom, he just posted. And on the
Right.
post it says, Black America wake up. He
Right.
didn't post that. He just reposted it. But on the clip with the movie, it says Black America wake up. That's just part of the movie clip. So the media get it, the team get it. Everybody's like they upset. They saying this, he's supporting an anti-Semitic movie. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? A documentary. He didn't say he supported it. He just posted it. He didn't say I
Just
like
made a
it, I
post.
love it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Go get it. Go check it out. You know what I mean? Nothing. He just posted it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he also posted it. Because we it's a real it's about signs, symbols, and numbers.
There you
So
go.
he posted it at 1:44
Mm-hmm.
a.m. at night.
Right.
Now, the real Jewish people know what that 1:44 mean,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So he posted at 1:44. Plus, he said, "Black America, wake up." I think that it's becoming like I think the black people are like Eve, man. And once we bite the forbidden fruit, it's like we get, like lynched or something. Like it's forbidden to have that knowledge of self. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
forbidden to have that knowledge of your history. It's
That's right.
forbidden to even speak on the knowledge of your history. I
Mm.
mean, which everybody is attached to, but just your little
Right.
piece of it, it's fucking like it's blasphemy.
Crazy.
It's blasphemy, and it's crazy, bro. Like these brothers are just that brother didn't say nothing anti-Semitic, like kill the J words. You know what I mean? Some Nazi
Right.
type of shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, get them with the original and get rid of them. None of that type of shit. Posted
Right.
a link. The boy Kanye said, "I'm one of you." You know what I mean? Y'all my brothers.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
but
Right. Right.
yeah,
Right.
my brothers that you know messed me over in the business. And a lot
Right.
of dudes are running the business along with the media and whatnot, which is
Right.
true.
Which is true.
Like,
All
what's the
right.
big secret? Like, they do run a lot of shit.
Let's unpack it. Let's just pack it.
Just
We
like, just
also
like,
we
just
are
like the Arabs got a lot of oil. You
right.
know what I mean? The Saudis got a lot of oil. We know
Right.
that. We know they
If
run a
you
lot of
said
shit. Period.
if you said a lot of Arabs have 7-Elevens, that would not be racist. That'd be a
That would
fact.
not be racist. That's true.
That's a fact. They got that. So let's unpack what's going on because there's a lot of stuff
And
at
no
play right
disrespect to
now.
anybody that's Jewish out there. I'm just, laying down the
Nah,
situation
listen,
that happened.
this right here ain't nothing but love. This ain't nothing but love, and I consider everybody on this planet one family,
Right.
one
We're
race,
all
one
humans.
race, the
We're all
human
humans.
race.
We're all
There you
humans.
go.
Period. That's
Human
it.
race.
The
That's it.
human race. That's it.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
look at
And and
nobody with
and
side
and and
eye.
and where we draw the
Y'all are my
line
brothers and
is
sisters. Period. No matter what
facts.
religion, what race, what country
We're
you
gonna get
from,
there.
y'all are my brothers and sisters, man.
We gonna
I work with
They're gonna see
energy.
the light, man. They're
I
gonna
work
see the
with
light in just a minute.
I work with energy.
That's right.
Good energy and bad energy. No matter what race
Facts.
you are, you come at me with bad energy, I don't rock with you. You come at me with good energy, I rock with you no matter what race you are. And that's what it's about with me. I don't judge colors, I judge energy. You come at me bad, I ain't rocking with you, and I'm gonna come at you bad if it go there. You know what I mean? But other than that, man, yeah, I'm good with everybody, man. Period.
That's right. That's
So
how we gotta be.
this is a disclaimer. You know what I mean? This is just, talking about the situations that's going down and just giving a little history on,
Okay. Here we go, bro, because we get ready to go all the way up. And
let's go, man. Let's
I
go.
want y'all to
My
rock with
bad for
no
slowing
no
slowing
no. That's
slowing.
the alley. That's the alley oop, man. We brought it down. You're the point guard. You called the play at the top of the key. Now
Let's get it, Shaq.
we finna run it. Yeah, we finna
Shaq,
run it.
man. Break the glass
We
board,
finna
man.
break.
Break the backboard, Shaq.
So this what's going on, y'all. Kanye is not dumb. He's not stupid by no way, no means, and neither is Kyrie. And I'll talk about. I'll go Kanye first, and then we get on. We'll talk about Kanye. Kanye is not
I
stupid.
mean,
He's this.
you
This is
we'll
what
talk about Kyrie. You mean?
Kyrie. We'll talk about Kyrie next. Now we're gonna first talk about Ye. I'm gonna talk about Ye first, and then Kyrie. So if I said that mixed up, I apologize. So first thing on Ye, he he knew what was gonna happen. He knew, just like you know, just like I know. If you say something about so and so, it's this is what the response is going to be. This is the reaction because it happens every time. Just like Nick Cannon or Farrakhan or whoever. It if you say certain things, you done. So he knew that prior to saying anything. That's why he put that. I'm gonna wake up in the morning and go DEFCON 3. He knew what he was doing. Now, why is he doing it? Because of the same reason that Kyrie is doing what he's doing. We're at that time now. This is the consciousness part of the cipher. We went through the force, we went through the religion, we went through the culture. Now we're here in consciousness time. People are waking up. You can see it, I can see it, the world can see it. So when things are being put out there, a lot of it is to stimulate thought and to also usher in some things. So I'll start with the White Lives Matter, then go to the Jews, and then go into this no black and no white. First, when we say White Lives Matter, really you are white, yuck. You're not black, you're white. Why? Because white is not talking about your skin color. White is talking about a status. White means purity. Purity means God. God means ruler of the land. Black is the opposite of that. When you look at it up in a dictionary, it usually has a negative connotation. This doesn't have anything to do with the color of your skin. So, first of all, we have to rise above skin color. Once you can get out of that gutter thinking, because if you caught up in he's a black dude, that's a white dude, then you're already beat. You're already defeated. When you walk in a room, you a spirit, you a mindset, you an energy. So you elevated already out of that. So we have to rise our people above I'm black and that person's white. If you're on that level, that's like the slave saying I'm complicit with being a slave and you the master. Because as long as you're gonna be there's no slave master relationship unless both parties agree this is what's going to happen. Soon as one party doesn't agree to that, it's over. The slave is no longer a slave. He's a runaway now. The master is not the master anymore. He's chasing them, or he's an oppressor or overseer or killer or murderer or something else other than the master. Nowadays, when they build houses, they don't even have master suites because that master bedroom was a connotation to the power structure of the plantation head. So they don't have a master bedroom no more. So we'll get into that too. Everything is waking up now. And so what I'm trying to do is inspire us to come out of the black and the white. And I think that's what Kanye's doing too. Now, he understood soon as he said something about what we've lovingly referred to as our J brothers. He knew that he would start to lose endorsement to become canceled, thus proving his point. Now, as we coming into the consciousness era, we say, man, Kanye crazy. We're not even going to believe anything he says. Let's go and investigate it for ourselves. We have resources like Google. We have resources like Bing or whatever these other platforms are to where we can search information. And then on top of
Yo,
that,
yo, yo,
come on,
yo. You got rabbis and you
come
got
on,
the Torah,
come on.
what they use. You got the Torah. And the Torah, right? I'm not this is paraphrasing. It says something about um it says something about the creators of creatures.
Uh-huh.
The dog, you know what I mean, will be cursed and always be chained. The raven will, you know what I mean, do something with the mate, with the
Right,
eggs. And
right,
then the ham will be, I guess they curse because they skin is stricken to something like that, sticking to something, whatever it said in
right.
there. And
Well,
then
we
it
can,
says something about the monkeys, the apes, the gorilla, like
right, right,
and so basically it says in there that you was cursed and yet because you're black, you're with the dogs,
right.
you're with the raven, you're with the apes, you're with this, that, and the third, right?
Well,
Alleg-
the first five, the
Allegedly.
first allegedly. Well, in the Jewish religion, they do have a Torah. What we call the Torah, which is uh, the first testament, if you will, the Old Testament of the Bible, and then they have a side book on that, right? So we take it back to when you want to talk about what like Kanye is saying about us being Jews. The world is destroyed. Most religions start with Noah, Noah's Ark. The world gets destroyed. Every living thing is swept away in the flood. The only people that are still left is Noah. It's eight people. It's Noah, his sons, and their wives, basically. His sons are Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Noah is the son of Methuselah, which is the son of Enoch. So he's already tied back to uh, a certain bloodline already. But all of his sons, being brothers, end up becoming the fathers of certain groups of people. Um, and this is where we hear about the curse of Ham because he's the son of Noah, and he's the father of Cush, had a son named Cush. And so they say that Ham gets cursed by Noah after an encounter, after they land on solid ground after the flood. So this is supposed to be our curse. Well, it really turns out that most of the Bible can be interpreted just like history. Whoever is running the show gets to interpret it how they deem it best beneficiary for them. And it was to me put out there that we were cursed, and it really wasn't um, necessarily a curse. It was how they interpreted what the relationship between Noah and Ham was. They all got land, they all had inheritance, and they all had an increase, if you will, all of Noah's sons. So I probably have to get some of my Bible scholar friends to help us out with the conversation where we could break it down. But there was never a curse, is what I'm trying to say. We were told that there was a curse, and that curse made us turned our skin black, and because our skin is black, we were to be less than or second class to uh, people whose skin wasn't black, if you will. But that's a falsehood that has been passed down through generations. That just was never true. All our people are the father of medicine, are the fathers of science, mothers of uh, agriculture and literature and philosophy and every other form of art out there. That's who we're from. We had never been cursed, but that was something that was put on us by the powers that be when we came through a certain diaspora, if you will. So I did want to address that. The curse is falsehood. We've never been cursed until we believed it, and then once we believed it, now you're living in sin again because you're ignorant of exactly what's going on. So we was at that point to where I think it got to the point to where we became black, and that's just total lack of knowledge of self. We went through that. Now, having some understanding of who we are, we can no longer be black. And so when slavery ended, everything that was associated and attached to slavery was supposed to end, including the names that were put on us, and that was
One
one of them.
question.
So go
One
ahead, bro.
question before you pass the Noah and the Abraham situation, man.
Yeah, and
When
tying
all
it
that
into Kanye. Go ahead.
when all that was going down with the Noah situation, the ark and all that, what part of the world were they in? Like where's the Red Sea located?
Well, they actually said that's not even the name. I think they said it's really supposed to be the Reed Sea. But the ark landed on Mount Ararat, which is in modern day Turkey. So that's modern day Istanbul, Constantinople. Um, that's over there on that side of the world where Putin and all them boys would be fighting that and stuff. So yeah, they're over there banging it out. But that's where the ark came down. It's supposed to have been on Mount Ararat.
Okay, where did the ark start its travel from? That's the question. Like where
Okay,
was
where did it take off from?
right.
It took off. Uh, we might have to put that question out there, see if we can get some assistance. But it was definitely.
Oh, I'm getting confused with Moses. My bad. I'm
No,
talking about
no, that's cool.
I'm
We
talking
got we
about
got
Moses. My
Moses, we got
bad. My bad.
Abraham, and we got
My
Noah.
bad.
That's three different demonstrations. But that's cool though, because Moses, I mean, excuse me, Noah is the man that we want to refer back to when it comes to are we all Jews, or can we as melanated people, as Asiatics, I call us all Asiatics, and that's even including my Latino brothers and sisters or the Spanish brothers and sisters. We all Asiatic, but it goes back to Ham. That's where it goes back to Noah and Ham. And if you do the research on that, and that's what I really more than trying to tell you guys what to do or how to what I think. Go do the research on that, and you'll tie us all into being a Semitic people. It says that we, our tribe, we're actually the line of Shem, which is Semitic, uh, and not Ham, because Ham was the father of the dark skinned races, the Africans, not the Negro, is what it says. So it actually says that we're not from Ham, according to that particular text. We're from Shem, which makes us Jewish, makes us from a Semitic line, which Shem is Shem, Noah's son, is where it comes from. But they're all brothers, so we're all tied together anyway. That's like if your brother was let's say Cuzzo is we all brothers, me, you, and Cuzzo, and he got a line of barbecue sauce that he pushing as his sauce. Well, it still came out of our mama's kitchen. He got the sauce recipe, but it's still we all came up
It's
together.
still a family recipe.
It's still a family recipe. We all tied. We all
Right.
tied. That's just he pushing the sauce. You pushing something, pushing rap, I'm pushing a clothing line or something, whatever. But we all family. And so no matter if you say we come from Ham, Japheth, or Shem, it's still all family because Noah's the daddy. And that's our, line of genealogy ties to Noah. That goes back to, then we get into certain books of the Bible that were not part of the canon. And you talk about Dead Sea Scrolls, talk about the book of Enoch, talk about the book of Mary, the book of Jasher, talk about these other literatures, other religious writings, rather, that did not make the Bible, that explain a lot about who we are and talk about certain relationships and different situations that would explain a lot of things that we still have. We're still mystery. We're mystified about today. A lot of who we are was erased, was destroyed, was not shown to us because of the impact that it would have on us if we really knew who we are. And so now it's coming out. It's coming out that we are tied to the culture and the religion that Jesus was. Jesus didn't come bring no new religion. He already was something when he got here, and he was Jewish. We say we're tied to Jesus. If you look at a person from the Middle East now, say we talk about our Middle Eastern brothers, and we say that's the guy that runs the 7-Eleven. That's what he looks like. So he probably kind of light skinned, got a little brown, little kind of curly hair. And you say, where you from? You say, I'm from Gaza, or I'm from the Middle East, I'm from where Jerusalem, or what have you. You say, okay, that's what people from Jerusalem look like? Yeah, that's what they look like today. But if you say, well, what did they look like 2,000 years ago? The guy from Jerusalem had a big old nappy afro, some dreadlocks. He was darker than you are. He looked like Flavor Flav. That's what the guy from Jerusalem looked like. If you go over there now, it's people that are that dark. You just don't see them. You see the ones that have been what some might say watered down or whitewashed. And so we think that the people from the Middle East look like the guy that's at the 7-Eleven, but they really look like you look. They really look like your uncle looks, you know what I'm saying? Nappy beard, nappy hair, they us. And that's the people that was all over that area. If you
But let,
hear,
but let me land. That's a great alley oop. That's a
come on,
great. Before it was the Middle East, it was East Africa where Egypt was at, right?
right,
Then it got turned to a name called the Middle East, right?
right,
Which eliminated Africa out of it,
right.
right?
Well, it was, we have to figure
Especially,
out how,
especially what Jerusalem, right? That's
right.
right at the
And
top.
yeah, and that way we can say Jesus, we don't have to say Jesus comes from Africa. We don't have to say
Right. But
that the prophets
Jerusalem is
come from Africa.
right next to Egypt.
Right. That's right.
But they
And the land of
separated now.
Canaan and the land of
It's in the
Moab
middle.
and
Now it's in the Middle East. Like,
right.
come on, bruh. It
And
wasn't
if
the
you
Middle East back then. It was Africa and come on, bruh.
And if you come over here today, say if you come over here from Egypt today,
Cause like a
you
dude
can,
said, look, let me land one more time. So if it's the Middle
mm-hmm,
East, then where the Middle North at? Where the Middle South? Where the
right,
Middle West at?
right,
Okay then.
facts, point, as they used to say. So we are those people. We the people of the book. We are the Semitic people. So you've heard a lot of people who try to combat that energy in the past say, I can't be anti-Semitic. We are Semitic. And so that's what Ye is saying now. I think that what's going on, there's some strategic chess being played. There's some chess, not checkers going on. And what it's about is in an attempt, I would hope to wake us up so we can start um, coming into the knowledge of self, and then also recognizing our worth, how other people see it. If someone else can see it and how it has value to them, then it should have value to us. Now, what he is exposing is I think it's pretty plain. Um, there's certain individuals that run Hollywood. They make all the movies, make most of the decisions on what's going to get on the big screen or show up on Netflix or, now it's different. We're in a new era of time now, but at one point in time, controlled what we seen at the movies. A certain group that um, controlled a lot of athletes. If you had an athlete and you needed a person that was going to stand in between that athlete and the NFL or the NBA or the Major Baseball League, there was a certain group of people that position themselves to handle and negotiate those contracts. If you just do the research, if you go look it up, I think that what Kanye is saying is, although he may not be able to articulate it or he's not articulating it in a fashion to where it sounds rational, but if you look it up, there's a certain group of people overwhelmingly who control these positions. If you look at the music industry and you look at all the big major record labels and conglomerates, now a lot of them have fell down some, but at one point in time, if you're talking about Interscope, if you're talking about Def Jam, if you're talking about Sony Records, if you're talking, they're, listen, Clive Davis, I love Clive Davis, but he don't do no rapping. He don't write no rhymes. But he owned Busta Rhymes' catalog at one point in time because he had J Records.
And on
Or
Puffy and on Bad Boy catalog.
exactly. When we talk about Leo Cohen, don't got no problem with Leo personally. However, Leo's not writing and performing and recording any rap music, but he's paid off of that culture. And so you'll start to see, and I think what Kanye was saying when you're looking at every rapper that's attached to a label signed a contract. That's a fact.
But
So
you chose to sign that contract.
you
See, that's
chose
why I
to,
said we chose slavery ourselves because those are modern day slave deals. We get
well,
pennies. Still, we get pennies off a stream, just like we get
right,
pennies off an album.
right, right, right,
Points is pennies. So the same
right.
thing. We getting points. We getting pennies off the albums and pennies off the streams, but they're getting the full ooh-wop. You know what I mean? So it's like, come on, it's a modern day slave deal. We doing all the work, like especially hip hop. We're putting our life in danger.
Well,
This is
same
the
hip
this is
hop.
the most
That's
dangerous job right now.
job on red,
So you're
dangerous
putting your
job on the
life in
planet.
danger. You're on the road. You're doing all this, and you're making them the most money.
And
They're running
and
to
guess
the. You're getting trinklets. They're running to the bank, straight up.
And when you really think of it, the other things that we do, if you list hip hop as the most dangerous job, which it is, I agree, then being a professional athlete is comes right shortly behind that. Because they'll lock us up, they'll shoot us,
Athletes
they'll
is
kill.
before that. That's damn near like the slave
Well,
trade with
so
the
look at
bucks and all that. You feel
so
me?
what I'm doing is I'm breaking down the industries that are being controlled. What's next? Entertainment, movie star. If you're an Asiatic movie star, all the stuff that we doing is high risk. These are high risk occupations. We put our life on the line. Every time we get out here and get in front of the world with our talent. And somebody else is being able to send their children to college and their children's children to college and create wealth and create generational legacy and generational wealth while the artists back in the day. And remember, I gave you the cycle that we're on: force, religion, culture, consciousness. It has been that a lot of our best, most brilliant light, the artists that shine the most, have died in poverty, have died in debt, have died in relative obscurity based on the fact that after they've given their life to whatever their craft is, their talent is. Somebody else ends up with the money, and they end up with nothing. And so I think that a lot of that conversation now is going to be had. I think that with social media and other platforms, other streaming services, you can't cancel a person like maybe you used to. So Kanye knows this. That's why he's trying to buy, a streaming service. I forget the one, but for Candace Owens' husband, he has that platform, Parlor, I think it is. So he can have a platform, much like Donald Trump said. Okay, if you want to ban me from Twitter, I'll start my own social media platform so I can communicate. So we're in a new era of time now, and we're living in an electrified age where if someone has a conversation and the mainstream doesn't like it, there are other outlets to get your message out there. So Kanye knows it, and he knows that controversy creates interest. It gets the bloggers going, it gets the influencers going, it gets the people talking. He done hit CNN, NBC, ABC, Fox News. He knows what he's doing, and he's going after. He's trying to. Well, I won't say what he's trying to do. It appears that he's saying, "I'll be David, you be Goliath. I'm going to call you out, and let's see what the world thinks about it." And so now, what happened was when he did what he did, if they would have been ready for him, they could have responded a little differently. But when Balenciaga goes down and Adidas goes down and the Gap goes down instantly, boom, 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 boom. It's protocol for what happens. And he basically could have said, "Now watch what they do. I'm going to say this and watch what they do. And if I'm lying, then it ain't gonna happen." And when they do it, it appears that he's telling the truth. He's crazy, but he's on to something.
But look,
So,
let me land on that, bro.
fact,
I'm very disappointed with black entertainers, former, ball players and stuff that got, platforms and stuff on,
right,
ESPN and
right,
sport networks, the rappers and that got
man.
podcasts and whatnot.
Let's
You
go
know,
in.
I'm seeing a lot of Uncle Tom type of movement go
Oh man,
down in the industry, bro, and it's sad, bro. It's sad. I'm
sad,
seeing all my favorite athletes, all my favorite rappers is like doing
man,
the Sambo moonwalk. You know what I mean? Like
man.
the best way to support the people, your bosses, is to shut the fuck up. Just say
Right.
I ain't got no comment on that. You know what I mean? Why go into the Sambo thing and then destroy your black brother? Oh, I'm mad. Like what they said about Kyrie, what the industry said about Kanye, it's just BS to me. You know what I mean? Like it just proves that we back in the days with the
Let's
house nigga and the field
come
nigga.
on. I was gonna take it there. Let's look
It's
at
the
it like
house
that.
nigga and the field nigga, and it's in modern day form. You
Well,
know that.
this is what it is. After slavery was over, a lot of slaves didn't want to leave the plantation. Why has we got to leave? Why can't we stay and work? They was happy. They had a cool position on the plantation, or maybe it wasn't a cool position. They just didn't know of any other form of thinking. This is how it's always been. When one of us cuts up, the other of us start tap dancing. That make master feel good and make him look at me better. But we're not living in that era now. You are exposing yourself. So when you see some action go down, instead of saying, "Okay, yuck, we're going to look at it, let's spin it, let's look at it this way. Maybe it's for this purpose. Let's figure out why the brother said what he said. Or let's even investigate to see uh, if there's any truth to what's being said." You have certain individuals who immediately start, uh, "I don't want to offend this community. I'm so sorry about what he
Let's
did.
let
I told him he was off his medicine,
That's no, no,
whatever."
no. Let's get to the truth. And
Let's
this
get
is
to it.
why they got rid of positive rap and they got all the drill rap and the kill rap going on. But let's get into some positivity that gave us a lesson when we listened to rap. Shout out KRS-One. It's called Why Is That?
Like teaching a dog to be a cat. You don't teach white kids to be black. Why is that? Is it because we're the minority? Well, black kids follow me. Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. Genesis 14 verse 13. Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham grandson of Cam. Cam had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham was the father of Isaac. Isaac was the father of Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, Egyptians descended from Ham. 600 years later, my brother read up. Moses was born in Egypt. In this era, black Egyptians weren't right. They enslaved black Israelites. Moses had to be of the black race because he spent 40 years in Pharaoh's place. He passed as the Pharaoh's grandson, so he had to look just like them. Yes, my brothers and sisters, take this your song. Yo, correct the wrong.
Correct the wrong, my G.
Correct the wrong,
Correct
bruh.
the wrong,
Man,
bruh.
you killed it with that, bro. You killed the
Correct
game
the
with that, man.
wrong, bruh. Come
Did you hear
on,
him break
man.
that down, though, man? Chris is on
Yo,
point, man.
yo,
He gave you the
Karis one.
shim. He gave you the shim. You heard that? He
Yeah, he
gave you
got
the
the shit
Moses.
off the rip.
He gave you the Egypt. He gave you that they was all black in modern day terminology, quote unquote, because we self-identify with that. They all had nationality, but they were us. And that's what the blast master was laying out, and he did it so prolifically. But that's why we the prophets, bro. That's why we are the information tellers of the of the world, of our culture, of what's going up, because we get it. We put it in this information. We put it in the form of what they call hip hop, and then we deliver it to the whole world. And hip hop being the most celebrated genre of music on the planet, the world is listening to us, and that's why I'm saying we on the front line. That's why we got the most dangerous job. And now we coming into this, the conscious part of it, the knowledge of self. We waking up. This is all prophetic. The Euphrates River is drying up, as they say, but it is our time right now. And so now the relationships that we have with other cultures, with other ethnicities, which is our brothers and sisters. So it's love. But now we gotta listen, bro. We was the little brother for a long time. We've been getting picked on and beat up. Now we just trying to say it's our time to hold it down. And everybody been knowing who we are. We've been in line for the throne. That's why Jigga and them be saying, "Watch the throne," because they know we here now. That's why I say that we here now. We're not gonna be denied, and so we can either ride or collide. And now you're starting to see a lot of the collisions coming on because we are not holding our tongue. We're not gonna back down. We're not gonna run away. We're gonna say this is what it is, and if you want to continue to do business with us because we know our value, then this is what we gonna need, and we're gonna get that. It's a brand new day. I'm happy, excited for where we coming into. Unfortunately, it's gonna be some
Shem
little
was a
more
black
rough
man.
times. Right?
Shem was a black man in
Come on,
Africa. If you repeat this fact, they can't
they
laugh
can't
at
laugh
you.
at you.
Genesis. Come on, Karis one killed it. Abraham steps on the scene. Being a
Man,
descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black. Like, come on, man. Like,
man,
golly, bro. And because
he
Kanye knew that and said,
right,
yo, I'm part of that.
right,
His
in
bank
part,
account is frozen. They said, we don't want your money. Come get it. They're not letting him get his money. Like he said that they have the power of, they run a lot of shit. And they was like, nah, they don't run nothing. But look how they shut him down.
shut
That
you down.
proves they run a lot of shit. We're just he's just saying the truth.
That's right.
What the fuck is wrong with the truth? I've been peaceful all this time. I had to cuss. We like 2 hours in. I gotta cuss now. I've been
Right,
very cordial with the language. Fuck that. I gotta cuss now. This is bullshit. Just
right.
because it's like, bro, we can't know who we are. We can't say, yo, like, the Bible says it was us too.
Well, you got to think so many people have made a living off of the fact that we don't know who we are. There's
Right.
whole industries that are supported off of the fact we don't know who we are, i.e., the prison industrial complex is one of them. You know, a lot
No,
of what we
no,
do.
no, 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 no. Let me line that up
Come on.
because you get knowledge yourself in prison. A lot of people like far as the Bay Area, my brothers in prison speak Swahili.
Oh yeah,
Like I'm just letting you know, like you don't get that knowledge until you go to prison and they teach you how to speak Swahili and your African heritage and all that. You don't learn that in the streets like that, So they speak Swahili in jail, bruh. Straight up.
facts. You know, one of the things that um, the big Quran, the Quran with the Q says, it says that when the devil is planning, Allah is behind the devil also planning. So when they was plotting and planning, we're gonna lock them up. They didn't realize that being in that solitary confinement, being in that cell, being in that situation was going to bring you closer to God, slowing you down to where you got all the distractions away from you. You ain't on the streets no more. Mom and daddy can't help you. Big brother can't help you. Nobody you can call. You ain't got no money on your books. Whatever's going on with you, it's just you now. And really, what we're talking about is meditation. We're talking about what Buddha did. We're talking about what the prophets did. They got away from everything and they connected with their higher power. That's really what prison, I hate to say, that's not allowed planning behind the devil. They threw you in that fiery furnace. We understand what that metaphor means now. They threw you in there to burn you up. But really, what happened is you gained knowledge yourself. You learned Swahili, you learned nationality, you learned who you are in relationship to the Creator because they stripped us from everything else into where you now have to say, I'm a man. This is who I am, and this is and nothing else attached to me makes me who I am.
But
I
the
make
main
whatever
thing,
else is around me.
not to interrupt you, but
No, you good, bro.
the main thing when you're in prison is you and God, bro.
That's right.
Period. That's why you get closer to God. No matter what your faith is, you get real close to God. Everybody get extra spiritual when they go to jail. And it's a
That's
good
right.
thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, I made my career in jail. It sat
Right.
me down. I had to
Right.
pray and get close to the most high. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? And plot, you know what I mean? And strategize on a plan. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have had that time if I was out there in the streets wiggling. I wouldn't be able to sit down and really
Right.
plan it out because
Too
I'm
many
too busy.
distractions.
Too many distractions, bro. So sometimes God sits you down to get closer to Him and to get to your goal, to get to your gift that He gave you to accomplish your mission in life. And you sometimes you realize that confined in jail. Sorry to say that. You know.
That's right. That's right. Sometimes you get that. Hopefully, you get that. If you don't understand that, then sometimes you get out of jail and then have to go back to jail, unfortunately, and try to get it again. But I believe, in our culture, unfortunately, it had become a rites of passage almost from a young man to manhood. We had to go through something, an experience, and I've been there as well. So I got a hold of who I am and came into, my idea of God through my process. And that's the reason why, I went on to write a book. I went on to continue to study the different religions and get into it to where we can have this conversation right now. So when we have higher learning, I can say I'm not just up here talking. This is because I got, 30 years worth of understanding and knowledge and building, and a lot of that foundation started when I was placed in that situation to where, I had to just be me and God, me and myself in there and coming and coming into who I really am. But that in itself, man, was a blessing because now I see, oh, this is why that happened. In the infinite scope of things is so we can get that information to this generation at this time as things are changing. Even when I look at Kanye, I pick through a lot of what's said. You know, we can get caught up in the, you know, the different stuff that you know others may be distracted by, but there is a lot of truth in there, in into what he's saying. And one thing he said is that we coming into money now, and that's facts. We got billionaires among us now. We got several multimillionaires among us now. We have access to resources. We're young with money now. You know, the NBA and the NFL, it's been around since we was young, but they wasn't giving up that type of bread that they're giving up now when a quarterback is getting $500 million or, you know, several hundred millions of dollars. So it's like it's a new era time now. Take the money, we got it. Look at the access to resources and getting in contact with networking, and then we got it. Um, just the ability to move around and do things. We here now. So this next, I say, really, it's already started, but these next probably 5 years, you're gonna see a tremendous jump in. No, I'll probably give it a little more than that because you're gonna have a couple presidencies. So we're gonna have 24, and then 4 years, 28. I say about two more terms presidency. You're gonna see a whole new look. You're gonna see the stock market look different. You're gonna see economic situations changing amongst us. You're gonna see a lot of stuff because as our spirituality rises up, um, there's no choice but to have a coexisting parallel reality. Physical reality is going to parallel our conscious reality. I think a lot of us, if you really look back, you look at slavery, you look at our mentality. Didn't know, couldn't read, couldn't write, didn't know the language, had trouble communicating, was in a bad situation mentally, was in a bad situation physically. Once we get our mental situation together, then our physical situation will also change. We often say, as the ethers change,
Okay,
the
hold on.
conditions change. Come on.
Hold on. Speaking of
Yep.
mental changes, man, let's hear from Kanye, man. He has a change of heart. He apologizes, man. So let's hear what he got to say. He apologized to the black people and the Jewish people. Let's hear what he got to say.
I didn't realize that I could be considered anti-Semitic till I read one of the definitions of anti-Semitism. Look at this. The definition says making mendacious, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such, or the power of Jews as a collective, such as, especially, but not exclusively. This sounds like think about it, that sounds like the type of wording that's in the contracts, right? Okay, it says, such as, especially, but not exclusively, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy or of Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or other societal institutions. But isn't that what you said? That Jews run everything? Yeah, but that actually is considered to be anti-Semitic. Right. So I didn't realize that it was anti-Semitic to say, hey, you know, I have a Jewish attorney, I have a Jewish record label, I have a Jewish contractor, I have a. Do you regret your statements? Or the statements you think you should be walking back? I mean, considering. What do you mean walking back? Well, you know, backing up off of them. I mean, the thing is, you've lost a lot of endorsements. People are dropping you. You're getting, you know, vilified. You know, I mean, you might think you're right, but I think, you know, there's a whole world out there that's condemning you for what you said. Okay, so this right here is a chart of Universal Studios, 20th Century Fox, ABC News, CBS News, Columbia Pictures, Warner Brothers, ESPN Sports, Fox News, Washington Post, Metro Goldwyn Mayer, MTV Music Television, Nickelodeon, USA Today, Wall Street Journal, Comedy Central, NBC Entertainment, Google, what else do we have? Disney, ABC Kids and Family, YouTube, Los Angeles Times, Discovery Network, Paramount Pictures, Facebook, Huffington Post, Yahoo, Marvel, Hulu, Cosmopolitan, Time, Touchstone, Associated Press, Pixar, Miramax, HBO, New York Post, Lucas Arts, MSNBC, DreamWorks Animation. Now, the thing is, I skipped over maybe about 5 of them because it was just unclear on this list. The red are the executives that are Jewish at these companies.
It's all red. It's all red.
Together what
Right.
you said? Was that the...
Look
So
at that.
Like I said, he's very
so
intelligent.
Hold on, let him keep going.
I've had experiences where it felt like I was being teamed up on, and I didn't realize that that term would be considered to be anti-Semitic. So I had a mediation with Adidas today, and I think Adidas felt like because everyone else was ganging up on me that they had the right to just take my designs, and I feel like right now I feel like that was in Christianity we don't say karma, we say you reap what you sow. And I feel like this is God humbling me right now because there's two things that are happening. A lot of times when I would say, oh, I'm the richest black man, it would be a defense that I would use for the mental health conversation. To say, oh, you guys say I'm crazy, but look at this, I made money. And but that is not godlike to be showing off. So if it's not godlike, then God will take that because it's all the church's money, right? So what's happening right now is I'm being humbled. Another thing that's happening is by me being burned to the flesh every single day, it's actually proving
Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use.
it's actually what I had to say. So when I went to the mediation, what I want to say is like black people are like, okay, Lex Friedman got you to apologize, Pierce Morgan got you to apologize to the Jews, but you never apologized to us about the George Floyd comment that made us feel bad. Now the thing is, okay.
See, now he hitting everything. Now niggas saying that he ain't got it all.
Right.
That boy
Right.
hitting everything, man.
He's
Let's continue.
strategic. He's strategic with it.
Very smart, and I think that he did this on purpose to get out
He
them
did.
contracts with them people. But
He did it.
let's hear what he got to say.
JFK, they got a lot of documentaries about how it happened. So we can argue about how it happened, which I like the fact that we can do that. But regardless, when I see that video as a black person, it hurts my feelings. And I know that police do attack, and America is generally racist. And I understand that when we got to say Black Lives Matter, that the idea of it made us feel good together as a person, as a people, right? When let me say it so the soundbite is better for you guys. When the idea of Black Lives Matter came out, it made us come together as a people. Now afterwards, yes, there was some things where the money went. There were some things where it was used in order to push us to the Democratic vote. There were people behind it involved. That happened, but the general feeling. So when I said that, and I questioned the death of George Floyd, it hurt my people. It hurt the black people. So I want to apologize to hurting them because right now God has shown me by what Adidas is doing and by what the media is doing. I know how it feels to have a knee on my neck now.
Oh, come on, Kanye.
So I thank you, God, for humbling me and letting me know how it really felt. Because how could the richest black man ever be humbled other than to be made to not be a billionaire in front of everyone off of one comment? That actually, if you look at the definition of DEFCON, it means to get extra defense, which obviously I must have needed. Yeah. I must have needed that extra defense. Now let's talk about the red hat.
We're gonna end it on that, man. But
Right. But that's enough to talk about right now for a quick second. You listen, bro. Kanye's a brand, right? So just like any brand, there's a team that sits around a table and says, "What are we getting ready to do next?" And I believe that Ye is playing chess, and he's banking on the fact that certain reactions are going to happen to the things that he's saying and doing, and he's going to come out looking like Jesus, and they're going to come out looking like the church, and the church is here to prosecute and crucify Jesus because Jesus is telling the truth. and Jesus is waking up the people, and Jesus is, spreading the gospel. This is a plan that he's got, bro. I see it. I'm not mad at him. He's using the media, he's using semantics, he's using politics, he's using everything that was used on us back on the game, on the people. And so we let's see how
My
how it
thing
plays
is,
out.
my thing is this. I think he's our industry, like far as entertainers, athletes,
Hmm. Hmm.
rappers. You know what I mean? Singers. You
Right,
know, actors, actress, whatever we do in the entertainment industry. Um, he's our Martin Luther King right now. He's speaking up for all of us, man. And everybody want to be silent and quiet because they
right.
don't want to risk getting dropped from their record label or
That's right,
being because when you do them type of things, we seen what happened to Mel Gibson.
right,
You know what I mean? Like once after he made the Passion of Christ, like he made
right,
the dopest movie, and then after that,
right.
it's like, hey, get him out of here.
Get
You
him
know,
out of here.
dopest Jesus Christ movie in life, man. So it's
Right,
like, come on, man, you can't win for losing. Like you make
right.
a movie about all of us. You know what I
And when
mean?
you look at who's
Jesus
been
represents
labeled,
all of us. You know what I mean? You make a
when you
dope
look at,
movie and then now, you know what I mean? Hey, get them out of here. So, with
right,
that being said, that it can happen to anybody, not just black people. You know what I mean? And then let's put the shoe on the other foot. When somebody says the N word,
right,
Roseanne Barr, she said something, got her canceled. A couple
right.
comedians, white comedians, got them canceled. So it's right back. Like like we could complain about this happening, but why we don't complain when somebody say the N word and get canceled? They get fired and we ain't heard from Roseanne Barr since. You know
See,
what I mean? So,
they got this new thing, they got, see, the stuff we deal with, if you want to call it racism, white supremacy, the powers that be, whatever you want to call it, right? It shifts. Like, soon as you start to figure it out, it's like a virus, like a COVID virus. Soon as you got this virus figured out, it morphed into something else. And so they've got the thing where it's cool to where if you are that, then you can talk about it. But if you ain't that, then you can't talk about it. And so with us, they just like, we'll just get them to just keep saying they gonna kill themselves and shoot themselves and destroy their own communities and do all of these things that we want to say, but we can't say it or it's gonna look bad. So we'll just get them to say it. And if you have somebody who's saying, well, we're not going to say that no more. We know that billions of records are being sold based on these type of conversations, but we're not going to have that conversation no more.
I mean,
Somebody's
but
going to
look,
feel threatened.
you're going right into what is the messed up situation about today's times.
Hmm.
Comedians can't be free. They gotta watch what they say.
Right,
Rappers can't be free. They gotta watch what they say.
right,
Athletes can't support certain movements. They gotta watch what they support or what they post. You know what I
right,
mean? Like, when we used to be the land of the free, the home of the brave, freedom of speech, freedom of religion,
right,
all this, you know what I mean? That
right.
is slowly
You
evaporating.
th- but
You
to
know
be
what I mean?
honest with you,
So our
I'm
freedom of
with
speech
you.
is gone. Like literally, like you can't say it said freedom of speech and religion. So if you
Freedom.
feel like you're a part of some religious culture, which
Right,
Kanye feels he's part of, how is
right,
that anti-Semitic and how is that against the law
right,
when it says
right,
freedom of speech and religion, right?
right. And to
Come on.
be honest, we think we had that, right? But we ain't never had it though. See, the thing about it is, back in the day, we feel like, yeah, we used to could say this and that, but nobody would because again, we went through that cycle. Like I was saying, we had the force, the religion, the culture, and the consciousness. So the force created the religion. You was getting beat down so hard, you had to create something, a thought in your mind that was going to be different or opposed to your reality. So we got super religious. Start, calling on, praying and falling out and you catching the Holy Ghost, all due respect, and having, went through a whole time where that
Yo,
religion,
the Holy Ghost is real, bro. I don't know about the people who fake it, but my grandma had the Holy Ghost. Like I
Facts.
come in the house from school and she's praying in tongues. Not at church.
Right.
She's
There you
doing her
go.
whole prayer and it's all in tongues, my G.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I no, definitely. You know what I mean? The
And let
Holy
me
Ghost is real.
let me come back
I
to
don't
that.
and
Let me
then look,
digress on
when
that
they
because I
speak in
shot past
tongues,
that on a, and it
go
might
ahead
have sound
talk about
disrespectful. Go ahead, bro.
no, I was just saying, bro, like some
No,
people
let
fake
me
it.
do that. I'm happy you
Yeah.
caught me on that as the point guard. I appreciate that
No.
because
Some
I
people
don't.
fake it, but
Yeah,
that
yeah. I
it's like
believe in it.
it's like some people call it the vibe. Everybody feel it. Like you feel it when you playing
Right.
sports. Like you own. Like you hit 40, 50 points.
Yeah,
You
yeah. You in
vibe
the
and you
zone.
own. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You feel it when you rap and you made a hit song. You know what I mean? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You feel it
Yeah.
when you act and you made a hit movie. You own your point. Everything is on point. The planets are lining up. You know what I mean? Like it's a spirit when we do anything. Jordan wouldn't be able to do what the shit he did without a spirit, bro.
Right.
Period.
So
You
what?
ain't gotta be speaking in tongues, bro.
Right.
That man went
And
Larry Bird seen that boy play. He said, "I just seen Jesus on the court."
seen him on the court. Now let
That's
me
what he
put this
called
in a
Jordan.
perspective. Let me
It's a
put it in a
spirit that
perspective.
goes with everything that we do, bro.
Everything on the
Straight
manifest,
up.
and because of our plight, I called it the force. So coming through that slavery thing, right? It made us tap into a inner part of us, which I feel like we just defined as as that wave, that Holy Ghost, that energy. We got that. Our people got it with the way we dance, the way we walk, the way we play ball, the way we rap. It's in us. We got that. We tapped into it because when you don't have nothing else, when things look bad on the outside, you get to a point to where you have to go intra. You got to go inside, and we did that. So coming through that experience, we tapped into that, and that's what I was referring to. I slid past it like, and I didn't mean to come off disrespectful. So I'm happy you caught me on that. We went through the age where we tapped in. We got the Holy Ghost. We got tapped into that, and then we turned it into the culture. And then what happened when we turned the culture? Like you said, the culture got um, I don't want to say, I'll say it like this. Somebody else took a hold of the culture and gave it back to us with the information they wanted us to have. And so now we're waking up through that experience. Because as it shifted with the music, just like it used to be consciousness in the music, just like with KRS-One. Well, most of the rappers back in the day were like five percenters or had knowledge of self or was talking about something. If he was coming from hip hop way back in the day, a lot of the rappers had a little bit of information they was, putting out there. And then a certain time frame hit and it shifted and then it was on this, a whole nother thing. They might have called it gangster rap back then, call it drill, getting on the drill kill team right now, or some other language, but that's the result of when it got shifted over. So now we coming into this whole nother thing, and I think that's why Kanye is the Martin Luther King, so to speak, because he got the platform, and that's what I'm saying. He knew that they was going to try to cancel him, but he understood I'm still going to be able to get out there because I got certain resources, I got things in place, I'm prepared. And then he hit the news loop. The man talking about running for president in 2024. Um, he got a lot of stuff going on now that we're not processing that he done already got a plan for the next 5 years in place right now, today, of things he want to roll out and how he's going to do it. So I think that's what Ye is doing. But the fact is, they
But
left the
look,
door open for the man. They left it
not
open for
not
anybody brave enough to do it.
not to cut you off.
Yeah.
Look what he's doing on top of that. Now, I think this is a way out
Hmm.
because he's trying to create like his school, them Donda school. They teaching farming, they teaching coding, they teaching technology.
Right.
Not 30,000 a month, 15,000 a year. Private
Mm.
school, right?
Right.
Teach you
Right.
all the shit you need to know about right now, agriculture,
Right.
fucking you know what I mean? Everything you
Right.
need to know, not this
Right. The whole
bullshit.
curriculum, the real
Yeah,
curriculum.
stocks and
Right.
bonds, everything you need to know right now, the real shit that's gonna help you survive right now. He got
Right.
the down the down the academy, right?
Right.
15,000 for the whole year. On top
Mm.
of that, he bought all this land out there where Wyoming and shit. Bought all
Right.
this land out. Woo woo woo. He planned on making homeless homes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Shelters and
Shelters
shit.
and
Not
right.
shelters, homes and shit. What I'm
Communities. Community. Homeless communities.
community, a
Right.
homeless community, and
Right.
then make a whole motherfucking baller community. You know what I mean? Like under this whole little Kanye, like right on his land.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Building architecture, nice condos, nice houses and shit. Boom.
Mm.
What that sound like? That sound like you don't want niggas to do that. Buy land, start building shit, start doing tech. Agriculture, architecture, this, that, and the
Right.
third. Looking out for the homeless, looking out for this, that, and the
If
third.
you listen to some of the
Because
names he drops
America,
too.
because America could do that, just like China do for their homeless. Look what China did for
Right.
their homeless. They built
Right.
big ass buildings and all types of shit to home they homeless. It ain't nobody in the streets in China. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, look
Right.
what other countries doing for their homeless. America, we
Right.
supposed to have the most power, the most resources, the most money,
Everything.
and we're not doing nothing for our homeless. We're
And
not
the
doing nothing
fact of
for
the
the middle
matter
class.
is,
We're
and the
eliminating
fact
the middle class on top of that. That's why so much homeless, because we are eliminating the middle class. That
right.
pandemic wiped out damn near 20, 30% of the middle class. I want to
Middle
say
class.
40. I want to
Right.
say 40.
Right.
Wiped
And
them
then
out. And they became part of the homeless. Straight up
yeah.
in a tent.
Right. Yeah. And some people that had a home lost their home. And you got others that it's almost like it was a reset. It's part of a reset. When that happened, it shifted some things around. But Kanye understands you could, when you start creating those villages and communities, start creating, you buying land, you are putting yourself in position to uh, to always win because he's going to end up winning off these communities because they're going to be able to generate finance. He's going to be able to get resources from other countries, nations, entities, people who want to donate, people just want to drop $10 in the hat. He's getting ready to pull up, have so many billions of dollars to support these ventures and have other philanthropists and big money people tapping in, donating. I'm telling you, bruh, it's he playing
Bro,
chess
it's
right
a
now. He playing
problem,
chess
bro.
right now.
Now, bro, I done seen this shit with Jay Prince, Suge Knight, Irv Gotti. They was making the first rap black distribution company. So
Right,
many letter boys came, so many alphabets came. Like I said, it looked like a spelling bee. It was so many letter boys and alphabets, shutting down the record labels. You know
right.
what I mean? Just
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they had the bright idea to say, fuck the big dogs. We gonna make our own
right.
shit. Be the big dogs. And they shut
We
that
could
shit down quick.
shut it down,
Michael
and
Michael
you know
Jackson.
there's gonna
Michael
say there's an
Jackson.
argument for Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby, with
Bill Cosby
buying
try to
CBS.
buy CBS. Michael Jackson, buy everybody publishing, own the masters, all
Yeah,
this
yeah,
shit,
yeah. The
own the
Beatles, the Paul
masters, all
McCartney's,
this
and
shit. So
yeah,
it creates a wave. You know what I mean?
right,
To where if people keep thinking like this, it ain't gonna be no record industry no more. It's gonna be ran by the artists. You get
right.
it?
Absolutely.
So that shit gets shut down quick. And we seeing it right now. They trying to
We
shut that boy down because
well,
Kanye.
the
I didn't
thing
see.
what's different.
Let me land right quick. Let me finish. Let me land. Kanye
Okay.
just did an interview and said the dude he was interviewing with a white guy.
Hmm.
And he was like, the dude was like, man, it's some bullshit, man. You saying anti-Semitic? I ain't feeling that, man. So he said, okay, cool. How about I say this, man? Right? What about if I say if all those type of people run a lot of companies, right? Is that anti-Semitic? He said, yeah,
Right.
well, you're talking bad about Jewish people just by saying they run companies. Okay, so cool. What if I say, let's do an all black company, right? Is
Hmm.
that anti-Semitic? And dude was like, I'm really not down for shit like that. But he's like, no, 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 no. Is that anti-Semitic? If I say, let's all start just a black company with nobody else, just all black people, is that anti-Semitic? He's like, not. So if I say I don't want to do business with Jewish people, just all black people, is if I say it that way, is that anti-Semitic? Well, that's anti-Semitic. Whoa. if they do it all by themselves, is that like he just broke it down? He fucked that
Right.
boy up.
Yeah.
Kanye is smarter than motherfuckers think. I'm sorry. He said if I saw the all black company, is that anti-Semitic? He
Right.
was like, well, no. He said, well, that's basically saying that I don't want to do business with no Jewish people no more. I want to do it all black. So is that anti-Semitic? Well, yeah. Oh, you're not doing like how? Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So
Right.
boom. It's like, come on, man. He's smart and he knows what he want to do. He want to make that black distribution company or that black, you know what I mean, DSP company and all that other shit. So, you know what I mean?
Facts. He know what he doing, bro, and it's like I see him setting certain things up because he knows the response because the way it's always been. So with Irv Gotti or with Bill Cosby or certain other brothers, they shut it down. Well, the only difference is now we're living in a new era of time. And I was alluding to this just a little bit ago, and hopefully I won't lose the thought. I'm gonna try to bounce around real quick. We've always had the illusion of choice or the illusion of freedom of speech. But because we were always controlled by the religion or controlled by culture and other outside entities, we just would never say nothing. You would think you could say it, but there wasn't nobody saying bomb at the airport, for example. You could say it, but if you say it, you know somebody gonna come rush you because you can't say bomb at the airport, so to speak. So now what's happening is you could never say it, but people are saying it now and thinking, oh man, we used to could say what we want to, but you can't say nothing now without getting rushed, the people coming. The fact is, we never could say it. He's exposing some things now that others have tried to say and they've been shut down. But because of the position he's in financially, knowing he had access to that billion, it was going to shut him down. But I know he's got resources. He's got certain things in place with different individuals to where he can get a hold of whatever little bit of money he needs to survive. He's been running around living out of a backpack for 2 years, so no house, no cars, just trying to live off the land, so to speak, or at least that's the illusion, to where he's been preparing to get shut down. He knew
Nah,
he
he
was going to
bought
get
he
shut
bought some
down.
houses when he was on
Well, he
Drink
said
Champs.
for real estate, yeah,
Yeah, when he was on Drink Champs, he bought a few houses. He got tired of living on the streets. He can't.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. Because I
yeah.
remember he had a backpack on one interview. He was like, "Yeah, this is my home right now. Everything I really need is in this backpack. I got a hard drive. I got a this. I got a that. But I don't got no underwear. But he did say he done realized he gotta
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
little bit.
He said he was buying
So,
a lot of property. He buying property for
but
bitches, side chicks, and
yeah,
bitches
yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
dating and
Cars. I
shit.
might
Like,
buy you a house. Yeah, I heard it.
yeah, yeah. He
So
buying houses, man. He
he's
good.
back in that capacity, we'll say. But he
Yeah.
knew what was up. He's all right, and he's in a position of where he's got enough face value, if you will. That he's known around the world. He's known in London. He's known in Milan. He's known in Paris. So he can move around, and he's gonna try to take on the machine, if you will. And you know what he's saying is the machine is ran by people of a certain faith, and that's what it is. But the crazy thing about even the word Jewish is it's not a, like, I'll use, just for the sake of this argument, black, right? So you and we black for the sake of this argument. You can't be black today, then not black tomorrow. You're gonna be what you want you can be. With Jewish is not a nationality. It's just it's a religion. It's like Christian or Muslim or whatever. If you don't want to be a Jew tomorrow, you don't have to be. You can denounce that and change your faith to Islam or Christianity, and then you're not a Jew anymore. So uh, it's almost as if when we talk about a certain people, that we're talking about a nationality, but we're really just talking about a certain people that subscribe to a faith, which in that case, then anybody can be a Jew, Chinese person, a black guy, a yellow red person, or whatever. So I think that when it comes to us, when we look at these different analogies and comparisons, we have to say we're the only thing, we can't be compared to a lot of things because we can't change it. Just like with the LGBTQ community, if you want somebody to know that you in the club, or you don't want nobody to know what your preference is, nobody got to know. You could be whatever you want to be, or you can be open and out there, and people can just respect it. But you can't do that as who you are in your skin. You can't change it. We always are going to be this. And so we have to recognize, also who we are and why we are. Part of that is because, we are that special group of people. We are the people who, Ye is arguing with, saying that he's offending. So he's got so many different points that he's going in on. And like we're saying right now, it's not our job to beat him up and cowtail and hoop jump to what
But
uh,
look, you
those others say. Go ahead, bro.
not to cut you off. I want to land before you go further. You
Yeah.
said that it's a religion, so anybody
Mm.
could be a Jew, right?
Yeah.
So why, when it's different other races that's Jews, it's not an outrage? Like why,
Well,
when people say they black Israelites or Hebrews or something, it's an outrage. But every other race could be a Jew, but I guess the black race.
well. So it make sure I understand the question, because I guess the black race can be a Jew. Like, take Whoopi Goldberg for example. I,
I'm talking. I know that there is, but I'm talking about
oh,
why
okay.
is it like so much like backlash? Even when Whoopi Goldberg said that, they like, what I mean, they went
Well, you
bad on
want to
her
be
too.
really real with it. You want to really go there. I mean,
Come on.
if you asking me, bro, I think it's biblical. It's prophetic. So in the Bible, there's these fake Jews, right? That Jesus talks about, and he says they are the synagogue of Satan. There's different stories in the Bible where Jesus is whipping the money changers out of the temple. The people that crucified Jesus and nailed him to the cross were basically Jews. Pilate was the the Roman instrument that was used, but it was because of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. These were different groups of Jews. Even though they have names like the Pharisees, they were Jews. Sadducees, that means this group of Jews ran the money. This group of Jews ran the church. And when Jesus came about, there was some falsehood being demonstrated. And so if we fast forward to 2022, you got a group of people that's running the money, that's running the temple, that's controlling the things. And I believe that this group that we know today does not want to be identified with the group that Jesus was referring to in the Bible. And so whenever uh, there is a unkind word that's said about who's running contracts, who's running Hollywood, who's running sport, who's the most sports agents, who's the one who's doing this, then you have this knee jerk reaction to say, "Oh, whoa, 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 that ain't us. Don't put that on us." And we'll shut that thought down before it gets a chance to get out there in the universe. We're gonna kill that noise, so to speak. And so, when you got the power, and you got the money, and you got the resources, you control media, you control information, then you're able to do that. And so that's what's been done up until now. However, certain groups don't control information no more. They don't control the media, and they don't control how we communicate to one another. Let me give you some statistics. Back up 20 years ago, uh, 80% of all Americans got their information from ABC, NBC, and CBS. Those were the major news media outlets, information outlets, or resources, if you will. Today, and so if we say 80%, 80, 75, 80%, that is millions of people, um, hundreds of millions of people. Now, today, I think they said they could barely get probably like 5, 6 million people that really tune in to the news and get all of their information from one of those platforms, which are controlled by a larger platform that's really controlling all of them anyway. And so we get our information now from social media. We get our information from these other streaming platforms and resources. And information is basically the third branch of government, or excuse me, the fourth branch of government. If you control media, then you control the people. So if we're looking at how do we keep control, again, when I went through those four phases, that's force, that's about control. Religion, that's a sense of control in there. Who runs the culture is for control. But there's nobody that has the control, pushes the button on consciousness. So this is why it's breaking down now. Just the same way the big record labels have lost a lot of influence because the internet is here. So is the people who have been the controllers of communication and information and how information is being disseminated across the nation. I often say time is speeding up right now. Not that a minute takes any less than 60 seconds, but the amount of information that you can get from California to New York in a minute, that has changed significantly. So if you're able to speed up the distribution of information, then time itself is speeding up and they can't control it anymore. So we all know how to read and write. So now we're able to connect and communicate just the way that young people used to have flash mobs and could get online and all show up and boom, be somewhere, 300 of them. That's how information is flying around right now. And because of that, you're getting ready to see a shift because the lid is off of the jar, if you will, and you're smelling all of that skunk that was in the jar. The lid is off now. Can't control it no more. And that's the difference between why Kanye is able to come out now and get traction, even though they're shutting him down, but he still his word is getting out. Versus back in the day when they would shut you down, and you just had to go into obscurity. And let me say a few things real quick. Go ahead,
Go
bro.
ahead, go ahead. I was
I
about
just
to
want to say
say,
real quick about Kyrie, real
I was
fast.
about to say, yeah, yeah. Speaking of, you, you fucked up my dialogue right quick, but
Come on, my bad.
speaking of sacrifice and speaking of, people that's, you know what I mean? Damn, you fucked me up, man. Anyway, man, let's get to Kyrie, man.
It'll
He's
hit you.
going
It'll
through,
come back.
yeah, yeah. You fuck. I had a whole spill, man. You fucked me.
Oh, my bad. I could
I
probably
had
run
my
some of it
pivot.
back
I had my pivot, and
about
then I was gonna
Yay.
throw the. Had the pivot like the shake. I was gonna throw the alley oop after the shake, like I was gonna do the Kobe
Right,
shake.
right.
And, pass it to
Uh,
you, right? You fucked up my shake. Somebody stole the ball, so I gotta go
no,
grab
no,
it back.
it happens. It happens. It happens. We get it back. A little quick turnover. But let me
Anyway,
say
but
this.
just speaking of the power, you know what I mean, and of the media, of the conglomerates. Just say of the conglomerates, right?
Right,
So our brother Kyrie is going through it right now, just by posting a tweet, right? Now, this he posted a tweet
right,
right when Elon Musk took over. Now, this
right.
is when the N word is running rampant. Like every white dude around the world, or anybody that ever had a problem with a black person is saying the N word on Twitter rampantly, right? He posted this
right,
on Twitter while the N word is going rampant. The N word is on fire. It's trending. Nigga
right,
is trending on Twitter. This is
right.
right. What nigga is trending. He posts this. Now, everybody lose their mind.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the whole motherfucking Twitter is nigga, 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 nigga. Nobody's losing
Right,
their mind. There's no tabloids, there's no nothing. But
right,
this
right,
man just posts a documentary link, I guess. And
right,
fuck all them niggas. It's about this link.
right.
So
Nobody had nothing to say about all of that other action.
nobody give a fuck about them niggas.
Right.
Anyway, anyway,
Facts. Facts.
anyway, there's a million, like 2 trillion N words going through Twitter, and then he posted this, and it shuts Twitter down. This
It
is
shuts
all
it
the
down.
attention, right? And the man have to pay 500K, right?
Wow.
He's on top of being suspended because he
How,
wouldn't
how are
apologize.
they?
He wouldn't
Power of the
apologize. He's,
conglomerate.
he's standing on business. Like, bruh, I said what I said, bruh. I just posted something. I didn't say, hey, go get it, go do this. I just posted it. I didn't endorse it. I'm not sponsored by it. None of that shit.
Right,
Well, if you made a
right,
tweet, you're posting, you're sponsor. No, you're endorsing. No, I don't.
right,
This is what I'm giving to my people. I did a search for Yahweh. My name mean Yahweh. So I wanted to see what Yahweh did. And this documentary popped up. I watched it. I posted it for my people. That's it. The fuck you
right,
talking about?
right,
Period.
right. And
Period.
then, well, he got beat up because he wouldn't apologize, and
Right.
that's what the bully
Apologize for
does.
what? My
That's what
name
the
is
bully
Yahweh. I
does.
wanted to do a research. I seen the movie. I watched it. I posted it. I retweeted something that was posted already. That's it. I didn't say, hey, this
This
is the
is
real proof about this and that and the third. They ain't that. They ain't this. None of that shit. I just posted it. Like, come
this is
on,
what
man. They
this is what this
the
is what
shit
they
they
scared
did.
of.
Hold on, man. The shit they did on that basketball court. I love all my J people, man, but god damn, bro, that was unnecessary with them t-shirts, bro.
What they
That
do? I
was
didn't see that.
hella unnecessary with them t-shirts, man. And
I
they
didn't see
cleared
it.
out the whole motherfucking like row. Like nobody could afford a motherfucking a flow seat, but just all them kids. Like, come on, man. Like they cleared out the flow seats and then let bruh, whoever got it, the whole row. Like, come
Mm,
on, bro.
wow.
Look how you didn't see that game?
I didn't see it, bro. I've been out the loop for a little bit.
Bro,
What
you didn't
happened?
see the game that he just played and they had
No,
the anti-Semitic shirts on? All the kids,
no.
they had their Jewish but I ain't gonna
Yarmulke.
disrespect
Had the
Jewish
yarmulke.
culture.
Had the
Yarmulkes, they
yarmulke.
had the yarmulkes on. They had the
What?
t-shirts, anti-Semitic. It was all kids, like college students. And one dad, they had the whole flow seats. Now, one celebrity had every row, every
Mm,
seat. It was all these no anti-Semitic. Like, oh my God, he's playing. He's horrible in this game. They lose.
mm.
They lose this
He
game.
said, he said he's playing horrible.
He playing
Oh
horrible. You see
man,
him,
my
they doing
brother,
close up footage. He like down his
my
head is
bruh.
in his
I seen
stomach.
the press conference he had.
Head in the stomach. Like he can't believe it. Like they got the t-shirts on like cheerleaders, bro. Like, come
Wow,
on, bro. Like that's super. Like, come on, over a tweet. They ain't never
crazy.
popped up like that to a Trump rally. Like Trump, just take him off Twitter. You know what I mean? They ain't never popped up like that. On like, come on.
Right.
They ain't
Mm-mm-mm.
never froze Trump bank and said, "Come get your money." They
Right.
froze Kanye bank and said, "Come get your money," and won't let him have his money. They still ain't giving him his money.
Crazy. Let me just let me throw this in real quick if I may. I think part of what's going on with Kyrie is the same thing with Kanye. This is the penalty for being conscious. This is the penalty for being woke right now. See, Kanye got 6 million followers on his Twitter account. They don't like that because he's in a position of influence. He's in a position. His son is named Elohim. Like the same reason why I'm Nelson L. Nelson E.L.
That's Kyrie.
That's
That's Kyrie's
that's
son.
Kyrie's son is Elohim. 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 So when you start to look that up, it's one of the original Hebrew words, which the original Hebrew are Jews, which means God. One of the first names for God is Elohim. So he's researching, he's looking and trying to get some answers to questions that he's having. But as he's waking up, like I said, one of the punishment, because we call it the conglomerate. The conglomerate don't want you woke or waking up anybody else. That's even worse than you being woke. And so they gotta shut you down. But it's too many now. It's gonna be too many. It's crazy that they showed up with that. I didn't know about the clearing out the rows and all of that. But I know that Kyrie had went on and said that he's an omniist, and I believe that means he respects all religions. He don't hate nobody. He ain't out to shut nobody down and do nothing wrong. But
Hey,
what's going?
somebody,
But
hey, not to cut you off.
go
Somebody in the
ahead.
chat said Elohim is Sumerian, not Hebrew.
So it's an ancient. It's one of the first words for God, just like El Shaddai or just El. When Jesus was on the cross, he said, "Eli, Eli, luma sabachthani," and this means, my Father, why hast thou forsaken me?" So we could debate it, I guess, but from my study and research, Elohim, and we go back to ancient Samaria or ancient Moab or Canaanite. These are all the same people. It is a um, ancient language that means God. So uh, I've been taught that it's an ancient Hebrew word, but if you go back to ancient Samaria, a lot of those are the same individuals, and they're coming out of the same geographical location as far as the planet is concerned. So a lot of the languages, early Aramaic languages, are Hebrew, but some will say they're Aramaic or Sumerian. So there are a lot of interchangeable there. But facts, I appreciate you in the text, in the comment. So I think that's what Kyrie is dealing with. He's dealing with the backlash of being conscious, being woke right now, and that machine is powerful. The conglomerate is powerful because it doesn't want. It feeds off of the lack of knowledge. Because as long as you ain't reading the contract, we're gonna keep getting paid. You ignorant to what this thing says about you signing this contract, this 360 deal, you signing this deal, you don't know what recoup means, you don't know what advance, it all has to do with an advance. That really means you gotta pay us back with interest. We like you ignorant. We like you not knowing what's going on. Because then we could take advantage of that. But now
And we
individuals, certain
like
ones
you
will
not, man, we like you not knowing about percentages. You know what
absolutely.
I
We've
mean? We
been
like
eating
you
on
not
that.
knowing about business. You know what I mean? We
Dave
like you not
Chappelle,
knowing about wholesale. You know what I mean?
intellectual perpetuity,
All of
intellectual
that, right?
property, your
Publishing,
intellectual, right?
royalties, mechanicals.
Your
All
likeness
these
and your
rappers came in
image.
the game blindfolded, bro. We didn't know
That's right.
about no publishing, no royalties, no mechanicals, no 50-50 label deals, no
No
publishing, no
merchandise, no
purchase,
your
no
video. We're gonna shoot you
no
$1 million
distribution
video. You
deal.
paying for it?
Yeah, no distribution deal. No, none of that shit. Niggas came in this motherfucker like three blind mice and figured
That's
that
right.
shit out, right? And
Well, got
still,
raped and robbed for a couple of generations, but we
but
figured it
look,
out now.
But look, now that we got it figured out, we still letting them rob us. And
Right,
Kanye is the only one that's speaking up, like, yo, fuck them robbing us. Let's do our own thing. And I think
right,
he purposely, said what he said to get out them contracts.
right,
Fuck it, I do it myself.
right. Well, at one point in time, it was like this. You had to be with a major label if you want your video to get out there. If you wanted to be on MTV, VH1, BET, you needed to be connected to a major distribution platform or a major label. Now, shoot, I can go shoot a video right tomorrow and it put it online and it has an opportunity to go viral and everybody are gonna see it. So because they don't control that no more, artists started leaving labels. Back in the day, it started a while back, but Yo Gotti comes to mind. I think he spent like 500,000 or something to buy himself out of his contract. Artists started saying, "Man, independent." Tech Nine, for example, maybe he didn't want to be independent, but just the way the game forced him, he went independent. And I think that actually was a better road for him than being at a record label because then he was getting all the money, him and Travis. And so it's like uh, once we started knowing that independent was the way, that was the baby step that it took to let's look at some of these contracts and getting out of these contracts and figuring out how we ain't been able to, do better after we done sold so many records, I sold so many units and went, platinum this many times. But like you said, three blind mice. We came into the game and wasn't no Vaseline, so to speak, and just got it. But we here now. We at this place now where um, All that time, it's a new era of time. I just can't say that enough. It's not the same era of time. We here now, and so you can really see a whole shift in the game. And those ones that was eating on it before, they're not gonna be able to eat now. And because of that, you getting ready to see a fight go down. We getting ready to be front
And
row
and
for the
this is the
battle.
fight. This is the
Yeah.
fight. It starts
Yep.
with Kanye. It starts with Kyrie. This is the fight.
Right.
This
And
is the
really,
fight.
if you really want to know, it's the fight that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was having. It's the fight that the brother Malcolm X was having. It's the fight that a lot of our freedom fighters and Black Panther movement and a lot of brothers that's locked up have been having because they spoke against the machine. They got blackballed or labeled anti-Semitic, or they got these labels put on them. And then once the labels put on you, then they cancel you or they can kill you. It's a science to that. It's
Allegedly,
also,
allegedly,
well, this is kind of how it's supposed to work. Everybody,
allegedly,
allegedly,
just for content
allegedly. Thank you,
sake. Yeah,
thank you,
allegedly. Yeah, we
thank you.
cannot. Yeah,
Cannot
allegedly.
say
But
that.
keep it going, bro.
Thank you. This is how I see it. How it allegedly works. And mind you, have no I don't have no powers that be. This is just me on the outside looking in or looking from the soil up. It's first we're going to assassinate your character, right? We're gonna vilify you in a certain way to where people look at you less than. And so, if we're going to create a slave or we're going to create somebody who we want to be a second class citizen, we're going to label you as a savage or a heathen or somebody that is less desirable. Once we have destroyed you in the hearts and minds of people, then we can actually remove you without too much anybody caring. Yeah, lock him up. Yeah, take his money away. Yeah, do this, do that to the guy, because they've they've basically put you in a box that people don't, they're not really concerned about what the plight was. I think that's how it's always been back in the day up until a certain point. And now it's they can't do it that way anymore because of this technology. And what I mean by that is, um, if you record an album right now and then something happens to you, your album is going to go triple platinum. And they don't want to promote you. They don't want to let your ideas spread or whatever you push and be heard more. So they don't want to physically kill you, but they want to assassinate your character and take you out of the conversation as being intelligent or a serious person when it comes to certain topics. And then so eventually nobody will listen to you. But now it's just people just got too much resources. We can that he said something crazy, but I went and looked it up, and guess what? 95% of all contracts, are owned by this group of people, or this or that is true. So
But where you fucked up, he should have just said the names because
right,
the religion is big around the world. You
right,
know what
right.
I
Well,
mean? Like there's a
he
lot
had
of
to.
people around the world that ain't got shit to do with the industry that's
Right,
going down in America now. As far as other
right,
industries, yeah, but everybody else that's part of that religion and that culture ain't part of that. So that's the only where he fucked up, and he
right.
apologized. But
Well, I think
he still said, hey, we are we descendants of Ham.
I think he
You
had
know?
to say it like that, Yuck. And the reason why he had to, it's almost like if you want to get the most attention, you got to do something big. If I come out here and say Harvey Weinstein, Barry Goldberg, and Spielberg, then it individualizes whatever I'm saying to just these people. And so he wanted to create headlines. He wanted to do a shock statement. So he uses the J word, right? But it does exactly what he wants it to do. Everybody gets alarmed. Everybody gets up in arms. All the media outlets go crazy. All the blogs go crazy. That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to shake up the system. And so he did it. When he read that list and that clip you played earlier, and he read everything from Walt Disney to whatever else is on the market. He was letting you know the names, the heads of these companies, and there was more he didn't say. He didn't say the NAACP, which should have been on there. You got a group called the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, but this organization is ran by the J word. So we have to understand that he's opening up a door, and this door is going to go all the way back to slavery before it gets done. It's going to go back to
That's where
who financed the ships, who was paying the most money, and what was going on during slavery. I guarantee you, he's getting ready to walk this thing back, and then there's going to be somebody's going to look at somebody and say, "All right, we need some reparations, a check." There's some things that are going to come that ain't came out yet, but there's a progression that I see that he's doing. So when you say naming names,
that's the
he
main
did he
thing. They don't want all the other information to come out. I think
coming
this is
out.
just my allegedly. This is my personal thoughts. Like, okay, you
Hmm.
could say because it's black Jews everywhere. That ain't the
Sure,
problem.
sure.
The real history. That's the problem. From
That's the problem.
Hebrews to Negroes,
That's the
it
problem.
goes deep into the history. That's
That's the
the
problem.
fucking problem,
And
man.
it goes back to who was buying all this cotton, who was financing the slave trade, who was getting paid, who ran the banks that the money was getting counted at and putting interest on the loan, and who was dealing out this cash.
Allegedly,
Alleged.
allegedly,
Well, that's what we don't know where Kanye's taking it. We're just talking about where we allegedly think where he's going.
allegedly.
Allegedly,
Yeah,
allegedly.
but
So
it's a rabbit hole that's deep that nobody wants to come out. You know what I mean? And it gets deep. I heard about it, and it gets deeper than rap, bro. And if you
yeah,
hear this shit, you'll have a whole different outlook on shit. You know what I mean? And they don't want the world to have that outlook, I don't think, because
they don't want that to happen like that.
yeah, that happened and it was all bad, you know what I mean? So that's the thing, you know what I mean? They done went through some shit already because of that. So, they don't want a part two,
They don't
period.
want a part two, but I think if
I wouldn't want
before
a part
everything,
two. I wouldn't want a
I wouldn't
slavery
want to.
part two.
Nah,
So it's
nah.
like, I understand. I fully understand.
But
I wouldn't want a slavery part two.
the truth shall set you free, and so we got to get to the truth. We got to
They
just like
don't want
we got
that truth to be out there because no, oh Lord have mercy, man. No,
facts. It's
that's
going to
the thing.
change the
Oh,
game. Like I said, bro, it goes to slavery. It goes biblical because the aspect with Jesus and the Jews and how that whole thing plays out, that's totally separate than the transatlantic slave trade and who financed that. And so these are two different stories, but it's all going back to what I think that Kanye's trying to open up this rabbit hole. And if it does that, then it's going to shift the game. It's going to change the complexion, the culture, the consciousness.
and
And
then
to me,
Kyrie, Kyrie
of the
gave him,
entire,
yeah,
that's right.
Kyrie gave him the direct link to the
And I'm gonna
information.
I'm gonna tell you facts, and I'm gonna tell you other thing that Kyrie did too, because um, when Kyrie refused to take that uh, vaccine and told them that the vaccine doesn't prevent COVID, at the end of all of that, he came out that Kyrie was right. They did a bubble, they did this, they did that. Brothers were still catching COVID. Brothers were still getting sick, still missing games. And he told him, I don't want you injecting that needle, what they call the jab. I don't want the jab.
Hey,
And
bro, let me shout out to
come
somebody.
on,
I posted a
come on,
link, man. I posted a link, bro. Bro, I see you in the building, man. Let's tap in with somebody. Let them get this shit off right quick, man.
let's go.
Bro, what's happening with you?
It's me, bruh.
What's happening with it?
Yucky, yucky. We go back far on the good times.
Yes, sir. Well, let's talk about the situation, though.
We're
Bro.
gonna go. I'm hitting on the back channel. I know for lost everything, another level. Him last, yes, I am.
Yes, you are.
Yeah,
God did.
yeah, I'm different. Watch this.
God did.
Yeah, this happened for a reason, Jack. God, homeboy went on metaphysical. I agree with everything he said, but I have a retort. Can I say it?
Go ahead.
I agree with everything Kanye West said. Every single thing. He just a lot. I got one more thing to say. A lot of people forgot Kanye got brain damage.
Allegedly.
We okay, allegedly. My bad. But look, on the real though, I'm gonna lighten it up. I'm gonna smooth it out. Watch this. Kanye is proving his point. He has an angle. There's something going on. It's deeper than this. That's what the homeboy Nelson right there, the artist. He on 1,000. Yeah, is on something different right now, and he being very rebellious. He is going against the grain, Jack. He got some very powerful people. 450 million ain't broke, and all that was invisible money. Land your plane, big homie. Land your plane. I got more to say, but I want to take over and land your plane.
Let me grab this,
Nah.
y'all.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Nelson.
No, I just want to ask Big Bro a question real quick. So I know you said you disagreed with him, but then you really kind of cleared it up and everything. I was
No,
going to
I
ask you
disagree
what
with you. Not
you
yay.
disagree. Not yet. What is it that you disagree about?
You, your opinion in particular.
Yeah. What part? Because I know I said a whole lot tonight.
Yeah, you did speak a lot, so I got to rekindle my thoughts. But as a matter of fact, you started off with stuff, but you actually finished in agreement. If you read my comments, I agree with your ass. No joke. No
Facts.
homo either. Um, when you got to the biblical thing, that's kind of but that's for you. No, I'm not here for that.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not for me. You should know more than I do about that.
Right. So let me ask you my last question.
Go
What do
ahead, big
you
homie.
think? What you think the angle is with Ye right now? What's he attempting to do? Because a lot of it is speculation. We just kind of talking about what we allegedly think where's he going? What's the angle? So what do you think?
Okay, I'm gonna land my plane very quickly on this. First of all, he wore the White Lives Matter shirt, right? That totally debunked the Black Lives Matter garbage. And I know Kamala and all them people. Yeah. Look at my thing, Yucky. You figure me out. So was Nikki, Shani, the homegirl. Spy on my thing, see who I am. I don't like. Okay, so what's your first question again?
Really, just what you think the angle was. My question was, what did you disagree with that I said, and you addressed
Eh,
that. And then my
not
next
much, not
question
much,
was,
not much, not much.
and then
Hey,
my next is
okay,
just
bro,
your
bro.
thoughts.
Bruh, no, he already landed his plane, bruh. Yeah, I mean, we appreciate you tapping in, bruh. You know what I mean? For
Yeah, I
sure.
don't want to say too much and
Yeah,
make this
it's
thing
all
hot.
good. Yeah, we got it, man. We gonna tap somebody else in, man. You be easy, bruh. Appreciate you.
Yeah, 1,000.
Yo, my nigga.
Yo, Yuck Mouth, salute.
Salute, my nigga.
Dog, I'm just chiming in. I came up here. Thank you for having me on your panel, dog. Salute to
Man,
you.
come
You
through,
are.
man. Talk your shit, man. What I mean, we talking about Kanye and Kyrie, man. Like they running them through the mud, man. What's your opinion on the situation?
I think they with all everything that's going on is they turn. They getting it. They just letting them know they still niggas. That's what it boiled down to me. You feel me? And I said this, y'all, straight up. If you a billionaire, ask De La Soul about how sampling can not get you no money. Kanye built his career off sampling, right? Or am I lying?
No, you absolutely right.
De La Soul, they just not getting 10 cents off an album from 20 years ago. Like, do you get what
Allegedly,
I'm, huh?
allegedly, I heard they ain't even.
Allegedly.
I heard they ain't even getting a publishing.
Man, how the fuck do you?
That one, they put out albums and they ain't getting no publishing. Allegedly, that's
Bro,
not.
Dog,
they talking about Anita Baker just now getting some justice, allegedly.
wow,
Anita
Anita
Baker.
Baker been in the game
Anita
forever.
Baker. Wow.
Oh, I heard that shit too, dog.
So
He
I
did
mean,
not own
it's
her. She
across the
didn't own
board.
that. Yeah,
It's
she had to
across the
fight with
board.
him. Yeah. So
Damn, they Anita Baker been in the game forever.
But Kanye speaking for the Anita Baker. He's speaking for all the rappers that have fucked up contracts, and all of us have fucked up contracts. I don't
Everybody
give a
done
fuck from the
seen a fucked
biggest to
up
the
contract.
littlest. Everybody had a fucked up contract unless you was a 50-50 partner, unless you had an 80-20% distribution deal. If you didn't do them two, you was a fucking fucked up deal and you was a fucking slave. Period. These
Yeah,
360 deals, these 360 deals is you a super slave, like a mega slave on
man,
steroids, nigga.
what? That's
For
why
real.
these niggas out here dying, and they don't. Man, 90% of the time, these
Oh,
niggas don't want to be out here like that on the road and shit. You feel me? Like, come on, man. They already know when they realize what they actually signed. Oh man, cause I
but look, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I signed a fucked up contract. And when you a nigga from the hood and you ain't seen more than 10,000 at one time, nigga, and niggas get to offering them 6-figure deals and shit, you know what I mean? You gonna jump. Period.
yeah,
You don't give a fuck what the contracts say. I'm signing. Give me my money. I'm about to move my people
exactly.
out the hood, this, that, and the third. I'm not doing no more brick cheese, no more welfare. We out this motherfucker. So that's what every artist is thinking, no matter what the terms is. Niggas don't even know what them industry words is in them contracts. Niggas don't know about, you know what I mean? Uh, niggas don't know about options. You know what I mean? Like you probably have a
Oh
3 album
yeah,
deal.
yeah.
Nigga,
Renegotiating.
you'll know you'll probably have a 3 album deal with 4 options, right? Nigga don't
Yeah,
know what 4 options mean. 4 options mean, nigga, you got a 7 album deal. That mean they can have 4 times the option if somebody try to outbid you. They can option that shit and outbid if you leave. You know what I mean? Of course they gonna outbid if they got a super hit bomb motherfucker. They ain't gonna let that go. You feel me? So
yeah.
they go
And
out.
then you could
So
have a damn hit. You still owe them 7 albums. They don't give a damn about that one.
bingo, you owe these niggas 7 albums. Even if you try to leave on the first one, you still owe 6 more albums because you did a deal with 3 albums with 4 options. Niggas don't know what options is. Niggas like, oh, fuck an
And
option.
then they don't
I did.
understand there's no
No,
negotiating.
I did a deal for. They thinking I did a deal for 3 albums, but nigga, you really did a deal for 7. So
Yeah,
it's contract and industry lawyer talk that's in the contracts that nobody understands but lawyers and industry motherfuckers that put these fucking, you know what I mean, these little twists in
exactly,
the contract,
exactly.
these little lockdown twists in the contract that could fuck you up for life. You
Hey,
dig?
Young, can I ask you this? Cause I know I've been there. And like when you first realized you signed a fucked up contract, like when did you realize it?
The first fucking year I was in my deal. You
That
know,
nigga said the first year, nigga. You just
yeah,
like
I
fuck it, give
knew.
me the
I
money,
found
nigga.
out what the whole budget was, and I found out what we got. I was like, hey,
Man, what you say, Young?
yeah, like, yeah, man, like, nigga got a big ass butt, not a super big budget, but way more than what we got, you
And
know.
that's
And
back when them niggas were charging $1 million a video.
nah, not when we came in the game, but anyway, we basically got like a TLC type of deal, you know what I mean? And You
Oh
know,
man, that
even
TLC deal had to be the worst shit I've ever heard in my life, dog.
we got that. we got
Really,
the
dog?
same,
Like
we
that
got
what it was?
we got the same TLC deal, but we went hard from the rip, so we renegotiated. You know what I mean? And you know that renegotiation is nice. You know what I mean? It don't change your contract, but it changed your money situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cause you
Yeah.
still have to own up to like what you
Nah,
said.
that contract signed. You gotta keep it.
Yeah, dog,
But
what you said. God damn it.
yeah, but you probably get more money up front. You know what I mean? More. You know what I mean? They the label fuck with you more. You know what I mean? You got them on speed dial. They gonna move how you want to move. So, you know, you get the VIP. You know what I mean? Ticket
That
to the
boy
label
said you get the
once.
VIP. When
Yeah,
that I got five on it came out, nigga, you already knew.
once you throw them on the wall, you could just walk through the office, man, and just say, "Hey, cut a check," and they gonna cut it. You know what I mean? So that's what type of flavor it was after we proved ourselves. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, these are slavery deals until you do the joint venture or the distribution deal.
It's about
Period.
negotiation, ain't it? Like,
And negotiating. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Period. Like even like right now, you got all the top artists. Like you got niggas like Meek Mill complaining about his deal. Like this is how many hits he got. He got
I
super hits.
don't even understand why Meek Mill, like, what kind of fucking deal did he sign?
What deal did everybody sign? That's what Kanye is fighting for. Everybody signed fucked up deals, man. The 360 is the most fucked up ever. Any artist that got that need to be feeling what Kanye is saying.
No,
Period.
I feel what he's saying, but at the same time, like, god damn. Like, like when you like, god damn. Like, what actually did you sign? Because everybody contract.
Everybody want a way out, bro. I'm gonna tell you, like, just being in the hood and the projects, nigga, and you got an opportunity of your life, nigga. It's like hitting the lottery, but not hitting the
That's
lottery.
it.
You feel
This is
me?
the
Man, that I understand that totally because I've been there. And
I'm an artist. I ain't a blog nigga. I ain't a YouTube nigga. This coming from a real artist that lived that. That's why I
Mhm.
feel Kanye. I feel like Nelson L is an artist. That's why I say Nelson L the artist. We do this shit. We done
Hey,
been ran
salute,
through.
Nelson. Salute.
facts, bro. Facts. I appreciate you, fam. I think one thing I'm just listening to your wisdom, bro. And the game got so bad at one point in time, I think artists knew that they was gonna get jerked on their first deal. It was like part of the game, even. Like you just gonna take a bad deal because it got so bad that if you wanted in, you had to get screwed. That was just
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And
Frank
that's what it
Ocean, but he
No,
said it.
yeah, no Frank
Basically,
Ocean.
no Frank Ocean. And it was like if you could do good on your first project, then you might be able to have a little leverage to come back on your second demo. But they got so bad with the contracts, artists started still like Yuck said, you so desperate to change those conditions that you like, okay, even though I know I'm gonna do so many numbers that I'm gonna let them get richer than rich and I'm gonna still be able to eat. And I know it's gonna go down like that. Just like
It's
an
like
athlete.
bro, niggas ain't even
Just like an
thinking about
athlete.
them. Look. Let me land. Niggas ain't even thinking about them mathematics. Niggas ain't thinking about what the. This is new thinking. That's why everybody waking up. We getting the game now. Back in the day, we didn't have the game. We didn't know what they was getting wholesale. We didn't know about distribution and joint ventures. None of that shit. When you come into the game, you coming in as an artist, happy to get a fucking record deal, no matter what it was. It was about the advance, nigga. That and you know what I mean, how much they was gonna put behind you. That's what it was mainly about. Niggas didn't give a fuck about what they was making. We niggas was on. We on a big ass record label. We touring. We getting show money. We doing features and we on movies and shit. We doing big shit. That's all we concerned about. But the big picture that we learned now is that everybody is making more money than we ever made. We thought that we was making hella money. Like, hey, we getting it, but they're getting a trillion times more than what we ever made.
and
Period.
then that
And
kind of
now
wakes us up.
niggas is waking up. We didn't have the game back then. Run DMC didn't have the game. If Run
Nope.
That's
DMC
right.
had the game, nigga, they were on Def Jam.
They would own
Exactly. With
Adidas.
that Walk
They
This
would own
Way
Like,
Adidas.
song.
come on, my nigga. If LL had the game back then, he was on Def Jam. Come on,
Exactly.
man. Like, but
That's why
nobody had the
LL
game
was
back
looking
then.
at Jay-Z a certain way. Like, how the fuck I built
Because
them things?
Jay-Z got the game. That's nowadays. Back
Right.
in the day, we didn't have that much freedom. They didn't let you do that. You
So
had to
what do
have
you
your
think?
own record label and prove yourself for them to really. You had to make $1 million off
Right.
independent albums like
Right.
Cash Money. You know what I mean? Make $1 million out the trunk before they say, "Hey, let's partner up with you." You know what I
Man,
mean? You
yeah,
could be an
dog.
artist. You could be an artist with good talent, and they say, "Hey, we gonna give you a distribution deal." That's unheard of.
Man, what?
You had to
I'm
be a
talking,
fully functional record label without them, independent in the streets, making your wave, and they came knocked on your fucking door and
yeah.
gave you a
Hmm.
distribution deal
And
or a
I'm
joint
proud of
venture.
you, Yuck, for even coming out that mud like that, dog. I just want to tell you, I'm proud of you.
Oh man, hey, it's still in the mud. You know what I mean? Because all them old albums is still contracted on them points, so I still get paid off of points and shit. You know, even though nowadays I'm independent and that's whole money, but all my real money come from the point system. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Can you
it is.
explain to these youngsters what that point system is? Because they don't know. They don't
It's the
know.
same shit. It's the same shit like the streams. Niggas getting pennies off an album. You getting pennies off a stream. Same shit. You know?
These
Same.
youngsters don't understand. Like, dog, I look at the artists like you getting paid 100,000 a show, just minimum.
But
And
that's all yours. But used to be all yours. The record label get a piece of that now with the 360 deal. So, you know what I mean? A rapper, I'm gonna tell you a rapper money after you get the advance. Show money, feature money, merch money, endorsement money. You know what I mean? If you're doing movies, agent, all that shit.
they got their hands in all that shit.
No, far as the outside, you know what I mean? The outside hustle,
Okay, okay,
besides
okay.
doing music. All the outside hustles is how you make your real money. The music is where they make the most money. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
make the most money off the shows. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? That's yours. You know what I mean? But other than that, they fuck them show. They making more than you ever will make off a show.
Man, what?
If you don't went platinum and triple platinum and 10 times platinum and you know what I mean, 50 times, 20 times platinum, that little show money ain't shit to what they made.
Man,
Ain't a
what?
percentage to what they made.
Dog, when I saw Vanilla Ice plaque in Dallas studio, I was like, wow. I just was like, wow, I'd never seen a diamond plaque in my life.
And we seen Vanilla Ice on a reality show like 10, 15 years later looking dusted, right?
Yeah,
With
they broke them
Bama.
down.
Like, come on, niggas get all the money, but it ain't enough money. Like, come on, they ain't never. Come on, man.
Dog, it's
Like,
enough money out here for everybody, but they want to try to tame a motherfucker. That's what I'm saying.
and the thing is that I'm gonna end it on this, and I'm gonna let you slide.
Okay.
Um, the main thing is this: everybody could do it, but us. That's the main question that I got. Why anybody, any other race could do it, but us, my nigga? Like, I
I
really
think it's
feel
because we all just don't have that mentality of being
we
together and
got the
sticking together.
mentality. They keep shutting us down, just like they shut Kanye down right now. All he's saying is, let's do it by ourselves, and they shutting them down.
Dog, when you don't get your money taken from a bank, that means they really don't like you.
Nah, they shut your resources down. So if you was to try to start your own black company, all black, you ain't got no, you can't get your money. How you gonna start it? We ain't
Hey,
giving your
yeah,
money right here.
was you around when Jay Prince and all them were trying to do that deal? Should Jay Prince and all them?
Absolutely, and that shit got hit with the letter boys. So yeah, when you try to think out the box, man, they box your ass right back in.
There
They
you go.
Damn,
their
dog.
ass right. Look at Nick Cannon. They box his ass right back in. He back on TV. Everything. He apologized. He back on top. They
What you
gonna
say?
box your ass back right in. Have you apologize? Shut that shit up, and you could get back to your money. You know.
And then the flip side of that,
Allegedly. You know,
yeah,
allegedly.
allegedly.
Yeah.
Hey, and then you know what the flip side of that is? They know you know when you peep game. and then that's when they attack you when you peep game. Have you
Well, we
noticed
gonna
that?
we gonna end that on we gonna end it on that, man. Good shit, man. Thanks for tapping in, bro.
Okay, thanks for letting me up here, dog. No
For sure,
bullshit.
bro. Be easy. Enjoy the show. We still going. Marathon
Facts,
continues.
100, bro.
Hey, Nelson L, man, you been ready to
Yeah, yeah.
tap in like a motherfucker. My bag, man. You know.
Nah, you good, bro. We got to give the family an opportunity to speak
But
too.
the
So,
first nigga, man, he like, man, I ain't like what you was saying. I figured he remind
did he
me of my
agree?
uncle, man. He remind me of my drunk ass uncle that be at the barbecue, man, that putting too much motherfucking seasoning on the ribs and shit. You know what I mean? Because he
Right,
too
right.
worried about telling stories and shit. Yeah, hey man, hey man, you know I ain't over seasoning shit. You know what
Look,
I
I
mean?
thought it. Look, I thought he was somebody that I knew for real. I had to put my glasses on and look at him. I was like, because he looked so familiar and he sounded familiar. Like that's bro right there. That's bro for real. But nah. He said he didn't agree. Then he said, you know what, for real, I kind of do for real. So he was listening and tapped into it. It's
No, but
it's
he
it's
was
a
litty, man. He was litty,
yeah. He
man.
was lit,
He
real
had a
lit.
few
He was
shots
litty
and
lit.
shit. You know what I mean? He was
Facts.
waiting. But
I knew he
salute to
was
him
on something.
though, man. Good shit,
Right.
man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to all y'all with all y'all suggestions, all y'all insights and whatnot. You know what I mean? We definitely appreciate y'all. You know, it's not no us without y'all. Thank y'all
Facts.
for tapping in. We've been going crazy, man. Marathon, man. We ain't been up for a minute. So,
So
you
we
know what
got
I
to do it like this. Yeah,
mean?
it's only
Yeah, we
right
gotta
because we
do it,
ain't been
man.
on, and there's so much going on in the world right now. So much going on in the universe that we can't just have a 15-minute discussion because we shifting as a people. Like right now, we shifting right now. We taking off. We in the spaceship. The mothership is going up, and so a lot of stuff is happening, and we got to address it. We got to talk about it, and a lot of it is we just kind of we trying to see what's going to unfold. So we giving our understanding and looking at it how it's playing out. But I think as long as we look at everything and investigate it, don't just believe nothing that's being said from nobody, then I think we're going to always end up better. So we have to do the research, do the due diligence, as they say, and do our own investigation. Because a lot of times, I used to tell a story about a well-dressed lie, right? So a lot of times, person could be lying to you, and they got it cleaned up. The words sound good. They're very articulate. They're dressed right. They got on they smell good, but they lying. And then the truth comes from the place where it don't look so good sometimes, don't smell so good all the time. The brother, down in front of the liquor store, asking for a little spare change. The truth might come from that. And so we can't just automatically try to identify the truth by how it looks. And so we have to do the due diligence, man, and realize that the truth could come from a person that you deem crazy, if you will. Let's get in here and dig into it and see what's going on.
Yo, man,
Let's
I swear, man, I feel the spirit talking to me, like you
come
said,
on.
man. I was at the mall just grabbing some shoes and shit today, and a religious guy approached me like, "Yo, we from whoop 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 church, the whatever he was from." He's like, "Can I talk to you?" And I'm on the way out, like I'm in a rush. He's just like walking with me, right? He's like, "Do you know it's a Holy Trinity?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." He like, "Yo,
Hmm.
you really know?" And I'm like, "Yeah, the Father, the Son, and the Mother." He's like, "Oh, you get it, right? It's a mother." I'm like,
Right,
duh. They're like they
right,
hide it. They turn the mother to the Holy Spirit. I get it. I
right.
got you, bro. But what I want you to do is like really get to say that to these kids, man, because these kids are lost with religion, man. So please approach the kids the same way you approach me, man. You know.
That's right. That's
But
right.
that was a blessing, though. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you get those people approach you with the word, you know what I mean, and lessons like in mid daytime or midnight time, whatever, in your walks of life, you know what I mean, and that's a blessing, you know what I mean, because somebody trying to give you the knowledge, you know what I mean, and really turn you
right,
on to something. He thought I didn't know. I was like, bro,
right.
like, come on, bro, I got that one. You
Got that
did.
one, man. And
Yeah,
a
I
lot
got
of
that.
times,
I see how they eliminate the female, you know what I mean, with the American type of texture, you know what I mean, the
fact.
American text of what it is right now. You dig?
That's right. That's right. I'm of the faith that there are no accidents, right? And so everything that happens is on purpose. It's supposed to have that conversation. You're supposed to have bumped into that person, even if it's just for a few seconds. All those things are supposed to be that way. Maybe it's just to give you confirmation on something that you already know, or maybe it's to enlighten you about something that you are unaware of, and then you can start your journey there. But it is confirmation to me that the spirit, that energy is moving right now. And you see it when you go outside and you see, certain things are taking place, certain groups on the corner, demonstrating their measure, pushing a message, or you got an individual over here that's, trying to do whatever they can do, or just young people right now, I think too. A lot of young people are enlightened more so than back in the day. So we know the time is coming, and we're starting to see the things that are going on with our athletes, going on with our entertainers, which I believe, like I kind of started off, that's the front line of defense that
But it
that we're
reminds
going through it.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Black Lives Matter movement. Remember when the NBA and the NFL, you know what I mean, was doing the Black Lives Matter movement and they was getting shunned, especially with
Right,
the Colin Kaepernick situation, when people
right,
was kneeling, everybody was getting sunned and suspended and dropped from teams and whatnot. It's
right,
like, yo, we just saying it's police brutality, but like it's just like you get dropped from your team, fined, and all that just by
right.
saying that. And in reality, it's actually police brutality. We're
That's
seeing
what the whole thing is about,
we're
right?
seeing it like it's fuck police brutality, police casualties. That's what it
Right,
needs to be called. Fuck brutality, casualties, and fatalities. That's what it needs to be called.
right. Well,
They
it couldn't
they
happen,
above doing the abuse. You know what I mean?
right. Well, all of that's coming to an end as well. See, the only way that they can get that off is because people um, the people that they do it to have no identity. That's what we was talking about a little bit ago. We're going through an identity crisis. We don't know what are we, where we come from, who are we, what's our nationality. We identify as black, but imagine if, say, police officers was killing and incarcerating young Italian men at the same rate that they're killing and incarcerating young
No,
so-called black men.
no. Let's do a bigger one.
Okay.
Asian. No. Chinese men.
Let's say Canadian. Let's say Canada.
No. Let's say the people that
Let's say
fund us
Chinese.
the most.
Let's say China. Okay, let's Chinese.
Chinese men.
If the reason why they can't do that to none of those people is because those people belong to a nation. And if America were to lock up Chinese people and kill Chinese people in the street and have them filling up the county jails, filling up the prisons, then eventually China would be able to take America to court, take them to the United Nations. Hey, why are you doing our people like that? You're killing Chinese people at a crazy rate, more than you're doing any other people. That ain't right, and America would be held accountable. It'd be the same thing if we talked about Japanese or Canadians or Italians or Irish or Scottish. The reason why they can do black people like that is because there's nobody that represents black people. Who does America have to answer to? Nobody, because you've got a group of people that are not recognized by any nation or group that the court identifies with, which are the people that the flags that fly at the United Nations, for example. Um, the brother 19 Keys, he had Taj Tariq on there the other day, and he was asking about reparations, and he was saying, why do we have to proclaim our nationality to get reparations? And one of the things that the brother Tariq said, he said, well, the LGBT community, they didn't have to do that. They have a rainbow flag, and a lot of the things that they got did not have to be. They didn't have to have a nation or be recognized as a nation to get it. And I agree with that. So I don't want to knock the brother, but I want to add to that wisdom and only say this, that um, there's unity with that group. They stick together. They fight for certain causes. They see the power of boycotting or canceling, or if you make this remark, then we're going to not support you, or we know how to use the resources around us, including our finances. And that's something that we don't have. And if we were able to come together like that, we may make some traction in that capacity. However, we'll never be recognized um, by law until you have a nationality. And like I also had said earlier, when you deal with the LGBT community or even certain religious groups, a person can be that today and not tomorrow. There are people I know that say, "Yeah, well, when I was in college, I was this, and now I'm not that, or whatever." So, we can't do that with who we are and with a nationality. You can, I guess, if you wanted to say move from Ukraine to America, you could come over here and you could go through the proper channels, take the course, and become American citizen or nationalized. But the first thing that America is going to ask you before you can become a citizen of the United States is, where did you come from? And unfortunately, we're the only group of people on the planet that is not recognized by a nation or a geographical location, um, other than just here in America. So we have to really understand that a lot of where we're going to pretty soon is going to be funneled into being recognized as a nation, which is going to take you out of the color code, which is going to put you in line for all of the resources that the government has to offer and protections that we haven't been able to enjoy, which part of not enjoying those protections include being killed in the street at an alarming rate, or at least at a larger rate than any other group of people, and filling up the county jails and the penitentiaries more than any other group of people. So once we become a nation of people, then we can, if that were to happen, we as a nation could go to court with America and say, listen, you're doing that to us more
See,
so than you're doing that to anybody else. And it
see,
would hold
look,
them accountable.
let me tap in on that one, man.
Come on.
Now, we say we Africans, right?
We say we're Africans.
Or we say we what? We say we Africans.
We
We
say
say
we
we
African
indigenous. We
American.
say we hold on. We say we Africans. We say we indigenous. We say we Aborigines. We say we Moors. Why nobody claimed us and why nobody came and try to save us? Like we got all these big countries and nations and whatnot, and know that we supposed to be from, and nobody came back to save us. Instead, people came over here and migrated and just did what they did. They didn't come back like come get us, like take America to war, and we're coming back and getting our Africans. Like, you know what I mean? So when shit like that happens and your own people don't come for you, the shit that's happening in Haiti, you know what I mean? That's part of Africa too. The shit that's happening, you know what I mean? Jamaica, that's part of Africa too. You know what I mean? The shit that's happening in Puerto Rico, that's part of Africa too. So when your people don't come save you, do it really make you feel like you part of that? You know what I mean? They don't even claim you. They don't save you. They just, you know what I mean? How you
Right.
feel about that?
I think that let me make sure that my speaker's on. Hold on. Put you on the speaker here. My AirPod went out on me. Can you hear me? Hold on, bro. Let me make sure. Can you hear me, bro? I see my microphone moving. I just want to make sure you can hear me. My AirPod went out. Let me make sure. I know you can. I had
I hear
anyway.
you. I was on
There you
mute. My
go.
bad. I hear
No,
you. I hear you.
okay,
I was
got
on mute. My
got you.
bad. You good.
No, okay, so this is the thing that I think a lot of us are going to come into. going to start seeing this more. I was going to say come into realization that the transatlantic slave trade wasn't necessarily communicated to us in truth. So less than 3% of all slaves that came from Africa ended up in America. So we have to realize that we were dealing with a global slave trade. And like you said, some went to the island, some went to the Caribbean, some went to Haiti, some went to other places. But the majority of the slaves that came out of Africa did not end up here in America. So when you ask the question, how come none of the nations in Africa claim us? Nobody came for us. Nobody said, yo, you got our people. Yo, those are our cousins. Those are our brothers and sisters. Nobody said that because majority of us did not come from Africa. And this is a next conversation that we're going to get into. And it's tied to God's chosen people. We were a nomadic people that were lost. That's why they called it the lost tribe of Israel. We were in different places. We didn't have a home. And so we were here. We end up sojourning, if you look at certain literature, over to the rocky shores of North America thousands of years before Christopher Columbus. There's been documented proof that ships have come from Africa. So I'm not saying that we all did not come from Africa, but we did not all get here by the transatlantic slave trade, um, thanks to Europeans. We knew about North America, had been over here trading and dealing. For those scholars out there, there's a book called The Case of the Cocaine Mummy, and they found all these mummies in Africa that had cocaine in their system. And not saying they just over there partying and getting high, they were using it for surgery, using it for medicinal purposes, all kinds of different things that we were using cocaine for in that particular plant. But most of us know that cocaine grows in Peru, it grows in Central America, South America, and doesn't grow in certain parts of Africa. So they were finding cocaine and tobacco that grows over here in North America and Central America in Africa. So we basically have been coming back for thousands of years, back and forth, trading, dealing, living, communicating, bartering, whatever. Um, what's coming out now is we were already here. We're not African Americans. African American is an oxymoron as a term. America is a nation on the continent of North America, but so is Canada, but you're not a Canadian. So is Mexico. That's on the continent of North America, but you're not a Mexican. So you are tied or you identify with the nation of America on North America. So you use the example of Barack Obama. His dad was from Kenya. That would make Barack Obama a Kenyan American, not an African American. If you ask an African, you have an African friend over here, you ask him, who are you? He's going to tell you, I'm Nigerian, I'm this, I'm that. He's going to tell you exactly what nation they are. They're going to tell you they from Jamaica. They're going to tell you they from wherever, Senegal. They're going to tell you that. They're not going to say I'm African. They have a nation that they're tied to. And so we have a nation that we're tied to. And how we get to the concept of being a Moorish American is that America, prior to colonization, was part of the Moroccan Empire. And a Moorish American, we say we're Moorish Americans because we're descendants of Moroccans born in America. So we're not talking about like French Montanas from Morocco today. We're talking about ancient Morocco when it was back 2,000 years ago, or longer, actually 10,000 years ago. So anyway, it gives us a context to tie a nation to, whereas there's nobody else that we identify with. Like the police say, they'll pull us over and they'll say, well, you fit the description. A crime happened and you fit the description, and they give us the description, and I guess we fit it. But if you look at what else could you be besides Moorish, you don't fit the description of nothing else. You don't look like an Asian American, don't look like a Chinese American, don't look like a Irish or Japanese or Korean or whatever. Now you may be that, but if you don't identify as anything and you identify as black, Negro, colored, African American, A lot of the reason why we're not able to get ahead is because the fact that we don't tie ourselves to anything that is recognized by the nation, by our nation of America. So the reason why Ukraine can get help when uh, Russia's bombing them is because they're a nation. If they were just a group of people over in Europe who was having a hard time, the United States couldn't just give them money like that. And so that's partially why we're running through having our having been having trouble. But the conversation that's being opened up, since we're kind of talking about Kanye and a lot of that, is that's trying to tie us to the nation, a Hebrew nation, or when he talks about we're Jewish people and things like that, just takes us out of being unidentified. And that's what a black person really is an unidentified person. If we shooting a movie and we fade to black and we fade out, it's nothing. And so we have to let that go. We've been kind of tricked, so to speak. And when you have platforms like Black Lives Matter, United Negro College Fund, and NAACP, not trying to speak radical, but these are entities that were put together for so called black people that are not run by black people. They're run by other people who are able to, what some might say, fleece the people or make money off of our ignorance. There's a war tactic, a strategy where you come in and you create the problem and then you also create the solution. So you clean up on the front end and you clean up on the back end. And that's kind of what we've been dealing with. We've been dealing with somebody else being to uh, take advantage of when we're born, like you talked about being born into sin. Prior to 1933, there were no birth certificates. You wrote the birth down in the family Bible, if you will. There wasn't the social security numbers and things like that. Well, now when we're born in hospitals. We get social security numbers. We get certain documents that tie us to the political entities that run the area, and they get paid because a baby was born. But we don't own any funeral homes. Pretty much, we don't own no mortuaries. We don't own no cemeteries. So funeral nowadays is $8,000-$10,000 getting started. If you don't want to be fancy, so they get paid when we get born, they get paid off of us while we live. If we're an athlete, if we're a rapper, if we're an entertainer, if you go to prison, they're getting paid off of you because they get paid off of every inmate that's incarcerated. And then they get paid off of you when you die. So that sounds like it sounds like a pretty good racket if you're on the getting paid side of the conversation. If you are waking up and you say, you know what, we can create our own hospitals. We can have our own mortuaries, cemeteries, graveyards. We can have our own NBA, our own record labels. We can have our own entertainment platforms and media outlets where we communicate with one another. We don't need nobody to do that for us. That's good for us, but that's also bad for whoever was eating off of us, whoever
Think,
was whoever was winning. And so now we're going to have this light and dark war, positive, negative, light, dark, consciousness versus ignorance kind of thing, because there is a certain incentive for certain ones to want to keep us unconscious, which basically just means aware. Because a lot of times, if you were aware of what you were doing, you wouldn't do it. Sometimes we just do stuff, and we still do stuff risky once we know. But at least let us make the choice. If we want to, do something or not, don't try to, let us think that we're signing a good deal. Like I think I seen Dave Chappelle. Dave was talking about how um, when he walked away from his deal with Comedy Central, he was talking about how when he first signed the deal, actually, everybody was telling him that it was a good deal. And yeah, just signed the contract. And he did. And because he did that, they were able to use his image, his likeness, his words, his intellectual property. uh, and image, what he called intellectual, or his image throughout the entire universe, forever. And so it's all part of just kind of coming into that knowledge of self, man. It's just that we waking up now. So
We in the age of Aries, right? Aquarius, right? The water barrier bearer. Is that it?
yeah, Aquarius. Yep.
We're in the age of Aquarius. So this means that the water barrier, this is the awakening of everybody, man. That's why we seeing UFOs in the sky. That's why, the elites and the billionaires are making underground bunkers. You know what I mean? Like you ain't making underground bunkers if you ain't afraid of something. You know what I mean? And once everybody awaken, it could get ugly. So yeah, it's going down, man. And it's just prayers for Kanye and Kyrie, man, for just
Facts.
being the ones that just really sacrifice bruh sacrificed 500,000. Kanye sacrificed a few million, a few billion. You know what I mean? Just to get the knowledge out there, just to get the wisdom out there. You know what I mean? The shit we doing right now, just to get the wisdom out there, they sacrificing their career, opportunities, sponsorships, everything, man. So go do your own knowledge, man. You know what I mean? Go do your own due diligence, do your own studies, look it up, figure it out, and see it, for your own self. If Kanye is speaking the truth, if Kyrie is speaking the truth, you know what I mean? And then you'll have your own personal, perspective of what's going on. You know what I mean? Then deep, go look up them companies that Kanye, all them red companies, do your due diligence, you know what I mean? And then see how many artists and athletes and all them companies is attached to, and then look at the percentages that these artists get compared to what the company get. You know what I mean? Then you make your own decision if Kanye is telling the truth or if he just blowing shit up your, you know what I mean, just blowing hot air. You know what I mean? If Kyrie is telling the truth, go do all the biblical texts. You know what I mean? Go look in the Torah. Go, study the rabbis. Go study everything, and come to your own decision. You know what I mean? We ain't here to force no decision on anybody. I know a lot of people feel like it's totally wrong. You know what I mean? What both them individuals is doing. You know what I mean? And totally against it. You know what I mean? The media. You know what I mean? Coaches. You know what I mean? Executives. Everybody is against it, business partners and so on and so on. You got children in the front row, all, at basketball games, you know, so with yarmulkes, you know what I mean, and t-shirts on, you know what I mean. So it's serious. A lot of people ain't feeling it. And no disrespect to the people who ain't feeling it. You know what I mean? We're just speaking a little truth to everybody else who want to hear the flip side of the coin, because it's two sides of a coin. You know what I mean? It's your story and then their story. So, we're just trying to put a different perspective out there and not, disrespect nobody with the conversation. You know what I mean? So, Nelson, you want to end it on a good note?
Facts on facts, man. Let me just say this, family. Change is good. Everything is in a constant motion in the universe. Everything is changing, even though we don't see it all the time because it's happening so in front of us. So we in a good place, family. I appreciate y'all tapping in. We get ready to make some moves. So I appreciate y'all for what I'm saying, tapping in with this consciousness, man. And I promise you, when we come back on, man, I'm gonna have my picture up, or we're gonna have an image that we can get along to versus the little speaker thing or whatever. But I plan to be in living color, if you will, next time we go up. And yeah, man, I'm with that, man. I'm with all of that. I say we got to support one another. Don't allow others to come into our community and divide us and break us up. We need to support one another, man. And then also, just because we saying it, don't mean that it's untrue. There's been a narrative that's been going on in our community where we tend not to believe that we can be demonstrating the truth sometimes. We got to always think that the Europeans' ice is colder, as they used to say. No disrespect, but we are the fathers and the mothers of mathematics, of science, of chemistry, of art, of all that stuff. So we got to We got the answers, man. We just need to trust ourselves, trust the process. Know we coming out of it, and yeah, man, we gonna tap in with you next time on higher learning.
My mic is off, man. My bag. I was letting you land
Stopped it
without
anyway. I
off.
should have threw the ball up. My fault,
No,
bro.
no, no. My bag. I'm letting you land, man. Thank you, man, for all the knowledge, man. You gave us a nice one, man. I learned a lot tonight, man. All the spill that you was giving us, all the free game, you know what I mean, that you was giving us tonight to enlighten the crowd, to enlighten people that's in the building, was legendary, man. So
Right.
appreciate your game, appreciate your knowledge, appreciate your wisdom, my brother.
Until next time, we going up, man. And this is the pregame, free game for the pregame, cause we ain't even got started yet.
Hey, man, we back on it, man. We was off for a hot second, man. We been busy, man. My brother been busy, I've been busy, but we back on, man. High learning, we back in the building. And you fake high learning dudes out there, man. We know where y'all got the splash and the swag from, man. You know what I mean? Just give us a shout out.
But we in
Hey, we out this thing, man. Yuck Mouth Nelson L, man. Another episode of High Learning, man. I hope y'all enjoyed the conversation, man. And I hope that elevated y'all, man. I hope that y'all got some understanding. And if you don't, you know what I mean, go do some research yourself, man. Get your own understanding. And yo, we just trying to, bring a better angle to the game, a different angle to the game. No disrespect. We love everybody. We love humanity, man. And we gonna end it on that, man. Y'all subscribe to your guy. Y'all hit them likes. Y'all share, man. Y'all share the knowledge, man. High learning. We out. Nelson L, man. Appreciate you, my brother.
facts. Peace.
Yada da.